I like making funny noises in bed, meaning like when I get up, I'll go like, no.
So you like when it's warm? You're not like, ooh, cold weather.
Bianca, the reason I like warm weather,
yes,
is because I have what's known in the business as bad circulation. I'm not one of those white people who wear shorts in February.
No, wow.
Like I'm always cold. I'm almost always cold, and then I've been like, I thought I was like a bitch, and then I remembered when I was a little kid, you know when you pull your sleeves in?
Yeah.
That was like my logo as a kid, is me with my arms in my, so I guess I'm not a bitch. I guess I've been a bitch.
You know, that's every guy I've ever been with is runs so hot. And there's no cold guys out there. There's one cold, but it's right cold. Here. It's cold as fucking.
It's right house. Under your nose the whole time. It's and cold. It was freezing.
Every time I leave, I'm like, I gotta get out of here. It's freezing cold in your house.
Yeah, well, I also think it's a white-black thing.
What do you mean?
White people will like think it's brisk. Like it's 69, 70.
Right.
They love it. Apparently there was a whole plot on Curb Your Enthusiasm where like a runner in a season where when J.B. Smoove lived with Larry, he kept turning the thermostat up to 79, which when I heard about it, I laughed out loud. Which is so fucking funny.
So true,
it's
though.
So
like,
funny.
Put on the heat.
Yeah.
And so you're white?
So I like it 73 in my house. When I check into a hotel, I'll put it at 76.
I'm 80, 85.
It's crazy.
80, just constant. 80 with the breeze is like.
What's the breeze?
So I'll put on my heater and then I'll turn on the fan.
All right. Just creating it's my co-host little ecosystem. Little eco. I like it warm.
You don't like when it rains, those people?
No.
I don't understand those people.
No. Ireland, like, well, you would brisk. I want tropical weather all the time.
But you don't go outside.
Because it's not warm enough.
But why live in Venice?
Because
Venice is colder.
I agree, but Hollywood has nothing but fucking creeps and pieces of shit.
Leimert Park's open.
Totally. It sounds black to me. It sounds a little blacker than I like, and I'm comfortable
Baldwin
with.
Hills, Black Hollywood.
Yeah, but I don't like the location. I want to move, but I don't know where to.
I've been trying to help you, and I feel like you're inconclusive.
Well, I didn't give you enough love when you sent me the first batch on Zillow.
That was a lot.
It was a lot, and it was overwhelming. There were a few winners in there. You know, we're gonna run a contest. Buy Neal a new house. Pick Neal's new house, and I have to
and
move
you have
there.
to. Oh, that is the most Neal
whatever the price.
Weird shit. No,
but by the way,
we're not doing
it's an arranged marriage.
What is a house?
Yeah, if you know how arranged marriages work better than real marriages. I would grow to love it wherever I lived. Over a certain price, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, is it gonna be? It's giant and nice. It's nice stuff.
You're not gonna be like, oh, not even me. Who can go about I didn't. The Golden Globes were last night.
Yeah,
and I didn't. I saw some highlights today. And
they didn't work well.
Tina and Amy, the top was kind of choppy.
Well, they were in different.
Yeah, which is like, just don't do it. Or I mean, they have a deal to do it for a couple years. So
they did. What did they make fun of that? I was like, oh, that Sia movie.
Oh, what they say?
When they went in on the Sia movie, that was really funny. They said, yeah, Sia's movie music is nominated for the biggest flopperino. Like they just went in on
literally quote unquote flopperino.
Flopperino. It was so fun. I was like, I felt my face doing.
And you went autistic when you heard about it. You turned into the character music.
No,
had musical hallucinations.
No, you're not gonna do that. Not gonna do that to me. But they talked about how bad the movie was in the opening.
Wow. Sia's if you don't know, Sia made a movie called Music, and it was about an autistic child who the girl from Dance Moms.
Dance Moms.
And Kate Hudson plays her mom, and this girl has hallucinations where she's autistic, right?
She's autistic, but she is not an autistic girl, so she went.
So the problem was the actress wasn't autistic.
Yes.
And it's like, again, it's not, I don't want to get into like, it's wokeness gone awry, but it just makes it clear that like wokeness, it's just, you're fucked. If you try to play their game of like the all thing, and then to be a good movie on top of that, and this, and like, the stack of things it has to be is incredibly difficult. And then they don't give you the benefit of the doubt.
The problem is, so I disagree with you. I think it's comic rules. Like, you can't make fun of it if you aren't somehow attached to it, you know?
Well, I have a number of race jokes that are pretty good.
Right, but they're also so good. It either has to be undeniably amazing.
So crazy good.
Crazy good, or you have to be, I remember I watched, there was like some Kill Tony, I was working, and a guy got up there and just made fun of breast cancer survivors.
I remember you saying
I think I told you.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, but who said it? Maybe it was Sinbad or somebody made that point. Like, you aren't a breast cancer survivor, so it feels really, you make everyone feel bad in the audience to laugh at what you're saying because we don't feel like we can.
Yeah.
There's no like, is this cool? If you were a breast cancer survivor, then it's like, okay, we can laugh with you. So I think it's the wokeness. Like,
but
if you're,
how?
What?
It's autistic. So an autistic person has to write. I mean, it's just how much autism do you need in the inclusion?
Was there any person? But the thing is, so in the movie, there were these dance numbers, and they were supposed to represent an episode, like a sensory kind of episode. And so then I went to some.
The times I've had autism, that's not that check out. Go ahead.
So I started looking at the reviews from these kind of Instagrams run by people with autism, high functioning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they could have had input.
Hold on, we're getting a call.
Oh, ding dong.
From a Golden Globe participant. People think I don't know nobody. Take your mask off.
Who is that?
What's that now?
Daniel Kaluuya, everybody.
You're not going to catch anything from me. Take off your mask.
Yeah, where are you?
I don't know, I'm in my house, isn't it? So
You're in your house.
You know, it's funny. You know what?
Daniel relaxing.
Give me the phone.
Okay.
You know what? Winning a Golden Globe should automatically get you the vaccine shot of your choice.
No comment. No, for black reasons. Do you know what I'm saying?
Wait, I have one question.
For black reasons.
For black reasons, bro.
For black reasons, you can't confirm or deny that you want the vaccine.
For black reasons, bro. Black reasons. And all the black listeners know what the fuck I'm talking about. They know what the fuck's happening, bro. I can't say shit. I don't know what that is.
No, I know you're right. You're smart. You're getting very political.
Wait, I have one question.
Hold on. Bianca has one question.
I have one
Hold
question.
Bianca, what is your question, Bianca?
I have a question.
The question.
Okay, how many Daniel Kaluuyas does it take to work a microphone? Because your mic was out.
Oh yeah, I didn't see it. Did you hit mute? Who fucked up your audio?
I don't know who did that. Like, that wasn't me. I was just living my life.
Oh, you were all right.
How could it? Like, the person that's getting the person that's waiting to receive the award or not shouldn't be the person that takes the mic.
That shouldn't really be your responsibility. Did you?
I think someone's saying like, I didn't put the mic, and I'm like, that's not my. So I have to go here unmute. No, it's like there's a whole. This is MB. What station is it? NBC, isn't it?
NBC.
Yeah. Like, someone's got to unmute me, no? Like, why is it on me? I played listen. Like, I played an activist. Let someone else unmute. Like,
you shouldn't have to.
I did my job.
You gotta unmute yourself too.
Yeah.
I did my job, so I'm thinking, let's share the load here. You know what I'm saying? Let's share the load, let's balance it out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a lot on my shoulders, isn't it? To just unmute. That's a lot of pressure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In them kind of moments.
Yeah.
So it's but I know. I can't even say anything now. But yeah, shout me offline, innit? Shout me offline.
Yeah, all right. I'll hit you later.
I'm here on the front line, offline, but online. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fucking Matrix. This shit is crazy. So I have to keep fucking.
Yeah. Some other shit.
Agents are everywhere. But no, mad love, yeah.
All right, bro.
Yeah?
Bye, Daniel.
Peace.
Long life.
Long life.
Long life.
That's great.
Daniel
That's a
Lee.
great.
Wasn't that a good fucking?
That was a great surprise guest. Neal, full of surprises, this guy.
You know what I mean?
Is that our last and only surprise
Well,
guest?
I've invited another relevant Hollywood figure.
Wow. Neal comes back with a mustache. Hello. It's Nardo.
A relevant Hollywood figure this week. But
Wait.
I mean, not whatever. Like it's a big week for people.
It is.
It's certain people. It's a big week for them, and I wanted one of them to come on and talk about it. Just quickly. So I didn't see the Golden Globes. Was he muted the whole time?
Well, he started, right? And he goes like,
Right.
right? And then
thought
Laura
it
Dern
was
is like, ooh, okay. Ooh, unfortunately, Daniel has some technical difficulties and we wish him the best. And then he goes like, wait, you did me dirty. You did me dirty. No, you did me dirty. And then they let him do his speech. But they were walking, Laura Dern left, they were moving on. And then he was like, no, motherfucker.
Oh, that's
let me
funny.
do
That's great.
it was done. And then he was like, no, I'm doing my speech. What the fuck? It's not my fault.
It's
muted.
hard. You wouldn't know it as an American, but he's from, he's like from Council Estates. He's not, which is the hood. It's the projects. But Americans be like, well, he must be royalty.
Oh, yeah. Americans are
With that accent.
Nigerian prince.
Yeah,
what? It's not Nigerian.
I'll say this for Kaluuya, who I know he was a Champs fan, and we just had lunch one day. And now he comes to the store pretty often. Good tipper, right?
Good guy. Great.
Great.
I don't disclose, but
Great.
he's in the...
That's right. You don't, off the air, she'll tell me.
Off the air. He did me dirty. Just joking.
He is, but he's a good dude. And the thing in that movie, you know what a lot of his appeal is? He's got perfectly symmetrical eyes. He's got
It's a nice face.
fucking smooth skin. He's got really sweet eyes.
How deep was his lunch, you guys had?
It turned into dinner. And it was
Sweet
dicks.
eyes.
It was dicks. Dicks were served. No, he's got really fucking nice.
Yeah, they catch the light. Good.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like in a way that if you met him, you'd be like, I don't know. And then when certain people you see on camera, and you're like, what in the fuck? But it's sad that people have to wear masks inside.
It's like...
That's how from Council Estates he is. He's still, it's
doesn't
the
trust
pandemic.
it. He don't trust it.
That's very funny that he can't say that he likes or dislikes the vaccine.
I know.
But he's not wrong.
Right. People just jump on you, whatever.
He's
way
not
you
wrong.
Go. So
Yeah.
it's like, just don't say anything.
Yeah, just say nothing.
The Golden Globes were awkward because usually they'll show the 5, 6, and then when I win, it's like, and then it zooms into me, but it was just still showed everyone. So they were like
During their speeches, during
Yeah.
other people's speeches,
yeah.
Gilly.
It was so bad. It was good for thank you, Jesus, for this morsel of entertainment, but it wasn't good for the show. So somebody won, and I think maybe it was Amanda Seyfried, but I don't know. They were still on camera. So she was like, and thank you to all my fellow nominees. And they were like, yeah.
It was
fake.
Obviously they didn't mean it.
It was just you're still on, even though you're disappointed. It was just funny. It was funnier than, it's I don't know. And then they're all in their living rooms. And then you start thinking, did we need the awards?
I watched the half of Tina and Amy's monologue and I was like, just don't do the shit. I mean, celebrities won't be here, but first responders are here. and now you're at risk. It just seemed like, well, are they outside? Are they doing anything to mitigate the risk for these people? I couldn't tell.
No.
I will say they weren't spreading aerosol through laughter, though, from what I could see. They weren't a great crowd. But, that's not what they're there for. They're there for because they're heroes.
Well, yeah, and then some of the why? Okay, you're a TV guy. Why is comedy and musicals in the same fucking category?
Because it's the Hollywood Foreign Press, and it's, from what I understand, it's a fake organization. Like there's 86 people. It's all press from not America. And they just figured out a way. That's the Golden
Globes. Oh, Globes.
No, but the Hollywood Foreign Press. That's who gives it away. So it's the foreign press. So there's not like they're not legitimate, but they give it away for a little bit fishy reasons.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm wondering.
Did they give it TV again? Because Sandberg won for Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I wanted to say, like, I'll give you all $100 if you can name his character on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
The Golden Globes they're weird. They're weird. There's weird reasons for and then they had this one part where it looked like a Tim and Eric special. It was a German and a lady from India and someone else from, I forgot, sorry. And they were like, we are doing everything to be inclusive and we haven't gone far enough. And it's like they just did this thing basically saying we
problem.
We have not brought in enough black people.
Yeah.
And we're really sorry. But it's still in this box of a superficial award ceremony. You know what I mean? So none of it feels authentic at all.
Yeah.
It just is, it was in a meta way, it was very funny. But it was not. It was just awkward. Seems awkward. And
it's just, I just seem like his point. Like it would be better if it were he could be married and you want the approval of hot women live. And women want to be glamorous and desirable on a red carpet with human bodies looking at them. So the point of it just all seems so forced and unnecessary.
Well, and now, no shade to my international folks, but race in this country is already very complicated.
Not to me, but go ahead.
Okay. But when you go outside of this country, it can be 1955 in a lot of places, in terms of judgment on black people, immigration policies.
It's 1955 in most of America, and then in certain parts of the world, it's 1655. Like, not even.
It's just like, I don't even get mad at the racism I experienced traveling. It's like, no, you black girl there. It's like, it's so, like, I'm not going to fight all these people. You know what I mean? It's very, it's so, I guess there's a lot of like what we would call ignorance around the world that I'm not surprised when we look at the nominees of the Hollywood Foreign Press. Like, it's not diverse. It really
The funny thing is, it's going to be hard. I guess Frances McDormand won last night, but I was going to say it's going to be hard for a white person to win.
You just see
for a while. For the next 5 years, it's going to be hard it got harder.
Neal, the nominees weren't established last year. They were established this year. And it was
George
all white.
Floyd here. It was all white still?
Oh, the whole thing is white. The whole thing is
funny.
white.
God bless
That's why
you.
I was like,
God bless you for holding firm.
Stay. And then they're like, we really need a change. It's like, you had a year to now we're just announcing we should start to change. I don't care, but I'm not surprised that was the nominees of the Hollywood Foreign Press.
Yeah.
It's just like, whatever. I don't want to talk shit, but.
Yeah, well, I get that. Well, what about the Oscars? Did they come out yet? The nominees?
No.
They better hurry up, though. Isn't it soon? They better
It's
hurry
literally
up
in 2 weeks. Oh, maybe they did.
They must have.
I didn't know. Announced.
Shortlist announced. What are they? Didn't they move it up to February? Guys, it's March 1st.
Didn't they move it up?
You guys fucked up. You guys missed your own deadline.
I went to the last Oscars, the last real Oscars, just so everyone knows.
Nobody knows. Did Keenan do Pierre Escargot?
No, and I didn't watch enough.
Look up Keenan Thompson,
Golden
Pierre
Globe.
Escargot.
Pierre Escargot is hilarious. Did you
I
write
will
that?
tell you the story of Pierre Escargot.
Oh
One
my
second.
God. All that tea is so much better than
Give
so much
me,
other shit.
if he did, give me my flowers. give me some money and give me my flowers. Here's the story of Pierre Escargot. First year of all that. Okay, this is kind of how life works and show business. Okay. So I'm working for a casting director on Singled Out, right?
Yes.
Yes, and I'm partially responsible for bringing Jenny McCarthy into our lives. And next door, just in the office, so I was working with the casting director. All the writers on Singled Out quit. Still don't know why.
Really?
I mean, it's because of a bad show, but whatever. I was then promoted to writer's assistant, but there were no writers.
Wait, all of them quit?
Yeah. This is on the pilot. So I wrote on the pilot for Singled Out. Next door was a sketch show, a kid's sketch show. And in the office was Dan Schneider and Brian Robbins, who had been on the sitcom Head of the Class in the 80s and 90s, so I recognized whatever. Started talking to Dan Schneider about sketches. At that point, I think I knew Jay Moore, who was on Saturday Night Live, whatever. Long story short, they're like, do you want to pitch for our show? Because we're creating a writing staff. I said yes, and I pitched. I was 20, and I pitched a sketch called "This May Be Our Other Special Guest." Nope, god damn it. I pitched when I was like 20 or 21. I pitched a guy who taught Spanish named Paco Delicious.
Oh God.
Okay,
Paco
Delicious. I don't get the job.
Okay.
Then, but two buddies of mine get the job, and they tell me about Pierre Escargot, and I'm like, huh,
Okay.
that's interesting. It basically, he took it,
And made it French.
made it French, but here's the punchline: hired me the next year.
So is it satisfying enough, or is it like
No, well, it's me, so nothing's satisfying enough.
Rolodex of
but
agony.
put it on my grievance pile. Give me my pots. Thank you. Well, fucking Will was on top of it. He wasn't even warned. It's almost like if you just pay attention to the show, you can have the sound effects right.
Neal, don't give him a compliment.
It's a
and
double.
go,
It's
God.
again. Play "Give Me My Pods" again at yourself. Just play it for yourself. There you go. That's just for you. And
For
so give me my flowers and put my flowers in my pots.
Okay.
Put my Pierre Escargot. I want to smell my flowers. Put them on my pots.
Did we have a confrontation with Dan at any point about this?
No, we never really talked about it. But it's fine.
Does it happen, or is it kind of
That
fucked up?
doesn't happen. No, that's fucked up.
Okay.
That's like demonstrably wrong. Like, no, that's absolutely
No.
wrong.
Like if someone sends in their work of their pit, or they're like,
that doesn't happen legally it's too dicey.
Well,
but
yeah,
I was
if
like
you
a
send in-
21-year-old kid, so
if you're going out for a job and you send in a writing package or whatever they ask you to do, right?
yeah.
And they don't hire you, but you see your writing.
Okay, here's the issue with that. Sometimes they won't hire you, and another writer pitches the sketch on your staff. What do you do?
Wait, sorry, no. What do you mean?
Let's say I pitched Paco Delicious, and then my buddies Kevin and Heath, who got the job, pitch Paco Delicious, but not literally Paco Delicious, but
Something
a similar premise.
Similar premise, yeah.
They don't know what I pitched. So is the show then prevented from doing their sketch?
Okay.
Because
No.
that happens all the time. Like
Right.
I told you a joke before we started rolling, that you were
we know,
like,
yeah.
I did it on Saturday, it fucking crushed. So could someone else write it? Yeah. But so I don't think they're a thief though.
But if you send in something and then you say, like, for example, in commercial auditions,
that happens a lot actually, where I'll see somebody say something. I'm like, there was somebody said something that I was like, I was going to get his Venmo or her Venmo from my casting director to see if I could just give them money.
Well, because a lot of times, there's like a trend where people are like, don't improv in those commercials, in the commercial auditions, because they won't hire you, but they will take your cool little like button you put, and you'll see it end up on the commercial. Yeah. So do I get a writing credit?
You don't.
I don't.
But if I direct it,
you're kind of fucked up.
You get $80. I'm kidding. No, you get.
But why not just hire me?
Because somebody else is better looking.
That's what it is. It's like
it's better energy, better, whatever.
But we like appealing, the thing you said. Okay.
Better eyes, kinder eyes.
Mind you, I book things, so this is not a personal story. I'm just saying.
Especially when you're a director. So I just wanted that grievance. I had to air that grievance.
Okay. What else? Let's keep going.
And that Daniel called in, so that's good. That's taken care of.
Dan.
And what else? I didn't. But yeah, it just seemed like just give it a second with the award shows. I know that they want to be funny if they did 2 years in 1 year. It was like
yeah.
It's a tough competition. Sorry, Daniel. You're not even getting nominated. Did you see Black Messiah?
Yeah.
My hardest time I had with it was not comparing it to Malcolm X.
Interesting.
Like there were points where my brain just goes to Malcolm X and is doing like what the death, like Malcolm's assassination day sequence versus theirs. Like it was just.
You can't.
It's impossible not to.
It's impossible not to, but
it's not going to make you like the movie more.
No.
I will say it compares favorably in a lot of instances.
Right. And
it wasn't a blowout, meaning it's like one isn't way better than the other.
I like how unforgiving Judas is the whole time. Not Judas, but whatever.
Unrepentant, you mean?
Like, yeah, what's his face? Lakeith.
Lakeith, yeah.
He just was like, I'm in this for me. Like, I gotta do this. And you didn't see as much internal struggle as you'd think there would be.
That somebody pointed out that the FBI guy had more struggle than Lakeith.
That would make sense, because I did wonder how, because it was years with these people, and years in it and fighting for it, and actually seemed like he did kind of believe.
It's hard. They did a dream sequence.
I thought it was
did
great.
Shit enough.
I actually thought it was great. I just assumed the guy was more just like, some people, no matter what.
Just because of the way his life ended? You think he was conflicted?
Well, no, not that. I just mean some people are sometimes, regardless of morals or what their orientation is or what their worldview is, sometimes they're like, I'm in this for me. I'm going to go to jail if I don't do this. So that's what I care about. So I just thought that was the true kind of struggle with the FBI guy. He's just like, whatever's going to get me out of trouble.
I had an idea for a completely unrepentant. That's what people love about Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, of course.
He's the greatest because he's like ate people and was like, all right, well, I'm going to get out of here. This movie's over. I'm going to go. I'm literally does a sketch ending. Like I'm going to go.
Right.
I'm meeting an old friend for dinner. He literally has a fucking sketch ending line. I'm meeting an old friend for dinner, and then walks away. And you're like, fucking, I love Hannibal. But like a guy like, it's just that narcissists never learn anything.
Right.
They don't fucking learn anything. Their last thoughts are like, I was great at this.
I wish he was a little more narcissistic, I think.
Lakeith?
Yeah, just
in that
dig
movie?
it in.
Well, yeah, if he had just been like, nah. I mean, he would have had to be like Don King. But yeah, it would have been enjoyable.
But no, the movie was really good and it was pretty. And honestly, his scenes that he had to do, those long speeches, feeling
Daniel, he did great with that. That looked like fun to do. Once you memorize those lines.
Once the nerves of let me be prepared.
Once you memorize those lines, like you're fucking, that's like you're fucking, like really, that's a fun scene to do.
Also, not so few people get to do that. Talk to a crowd and have them hang on. I know it's acting, but even in the middle, it's going to feel very, yeah.
It works. That's what I'm saying. Human,
right.
It's like, that's way better than, even if they were on us close up and they were like, should we clear out the extras? Probably like, mm-mm.
Yeah.
No.
And, not being from this country and it being like Fred Hampton, that's so much pressure. And the fact that he did it is like impressive.
They should have, the only scene I would have added was a 21st birthday scene at the beginning of the movie. Because you can't believe he's 21.
You forget.
Yeah. But, so
there you go.
So COVID is flat. So we're moving on. So let's pack your bags. We're moving on. COVID's flat. In a bad way. It's plateauing at like an insanely high number. Around 70,000 a week. Or 70,000 a day of infection. And because people think we're done. This is the this is where human beings are impossible. Because on the one hand, I'm like, we're kind of done.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I'm like, we're not. What are you guys doing?
On the other hand, put your mask on in your house.
Everybody's got senioritis.
Yeah.
With COVID, and they're, who it's going to kill? Ironically enough, seniors. But I don't even know what to make of it, other than don't give people COVID.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing is now I think the vaccine pool is way bigger. So if you work in the food industry,
the numbers on actually, ironically enough, seniors is down like off a cliff.
Yeah.
In terms of death and even infection, I think. Now it's just meat packers, which is great. Which I'm excited. I'm kidding.
Did you see that John Oliver?
Yeah. Again, I was gonna post it and write like, I know you guys love your meat. Is this a reason? Oliver did a long story about just how awful the working conditions are at meatpacking plants before COVID. Yeah, and then COVID makes it even worse. And it's like, guys, you still like, sorry, bro. Okay. Now I realize everything I watch ends up in me being a piece of shit now. Every documentary, I'm like, didn't see that one coming. I literally listened to a audio article from the New York Times about the points guy, the guy who just did freaking flyers. And then at the end, it ends up, I'm the piece of shit. Somehow, I'm a piece of shit because I have a premium credit card that works with points. And what happens is they raise the price everywhere else in stores to cover the cost of the credit card fee, and poor people pay the price. So that is the story of how I'm a piece of shit. But yeah, it's meat packers are still getting popped.
You know what? My takeaway is not yours. Is meat eaters? Mine is white people. Wash your fucking meat. It's disgusting. The guy pissed right where he was standing and continued to dice up the chicken, and your people would just throw that in a pot.
Yeah. Give him my pots. It's appropriate. It works. It's triple
so
meaning.
good.
Triple meaning.
So
yeah,
lots of lessons learned.
Fine. I'm saying the reason I became a vegetarian in the first place is because it's bad for people. The meat industry is bad for people. I don't care about animals especially. Now, Spirit Padre does, but I don't. It's like an unintended consequence. Like, so just find a reason. People that are like, sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Just find a reason.
The problem is though, it's how the big meat industries are run. Because I have friends who are They were part of the Black Farmers Union, and they have little plots of land where they do these small farms around California, and that meat is fresh, and that meat is not impacting, the environment like the major industry is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there is a way to eat meat. It's a premium. You want to pay a premium to eat like low impact meat on the environment?
Yeah, but that's still that ignores the carbon from the methane from their farts, no matter how you raise them.
Right, but then wouldn't that just be
the green? That's the greenhouse gas from the
Right.
meat industry is farting, which is of course it's hilarious.
But there's other issues with it.
Of course, that goes without saying that it's the funniest thing that ever happened. But that cow farts are going to kill us.
Why cow farts and not human farts? Like, why is it only?
Because what they eat and how they digest it, and
Interesting.
maybe they've just never measured what human farts consist of. Guys, come on by. So COVID, rest in power, Kang. Speaking of rest in power, Kang, Tiger Woods.
Tiger King.
Buddy of mine did a very simple joke.
Come on.
Every once in a while, Tiger likes to remind us that he is Asian.
Stupid.
Just a very simple joke. I don't want to say who wrote it because I don't want him to get any kind of canceled or even inconvenienced.
Tell me later.
But I won't say. Tiger Woods has now jumped out of. He's jumped the Greek shark, meaning the Sharkarus. He's jumped the Sharkalopolis because his life was a Greek tragedy, right? He's like fucking a prodigy, and then he gets he's a sex addict, whatever. And then he gets his wife in an accident and fall from grace and all that stuff, like Greek tragedy. Then he gets better and gets into a car accident at 7 a.m. It's like, that's just fucking, no, that doesn't work plot wise. It doesn't mean anything. It's just like,
Wow, Neal, you're even like critical of fucking
of life.
plot.
That's bad writing. It's bad writing like my dreams are bad writing. Horrible writing.
What do you mean? What do you dream about?
I pretty much every night, Lorne Michaels is mad at me. That's my dream.
That's
5 nights a week.
So weird.
I've had it before I knew him, before I ever worked at the Saturday Night
Have you
Live
told him
for a
that?
week. No, because it's something embarrassing about it.
It's so embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing. I did it on Twitter that like I think dreams are stupid. Most of my dreams are like Charlie Chaplin's mad at you, and that's funny and true-ish, but it's way more specific to the point where I woke up yesterday morning and was like, I had another SNL dream. Like, it's crazy.
What about when you've actually worked on SNL?
I'm sure I had SNL dreams.
Is it worse, or is it just steady?
No, then I have mad TV dreams. It's weird. No, it just makes no sense, and I've had it for so long. And they're not wet. They're just. I'm
What?
usually in Joe's office or Seth's office.
Yeah.
They same office, and somebody's mad at me. It's
Maybe.
Lauren, and I just hear the rumor, and then it's morning.
Is it crippling like anxiety? Or?
No, it's just like fuck. Or sometimes I have a good point. It's stupid. It's literally just my grievances in dream form.
They've just taken the form of Lord
Yeah,
Michaels.
it means it's just general work anxiety at a job I don't have, and when I do have it, I'm decent at it.
Right.
So doesn't make sense.
That's really funny.
That's why the brain is stupid. So Tiger Woods, obviously heel and power. Kang. All the players wore red shirts yesterday. That was cute. Kind of cute.
For what?
For Tiger. All the golfers
His
wore the
target.
red, yeah.
His target outfit.
But his is blood red. So it's a different thing. It's platelet rich. I don't really have any thoughts on this other than
Yeah, I didn't even know
Native
this.
Americans asked the Jeep company to stop calling it the Cherokee, which I guess not Native Americans, the Cherokee Nation. It'd be funny if a different if the Seminoles said it.
Right.
Like, hey, the Cherokees are upset.
The Sioux. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Like, your mom's upset.
Well, or shit, just cut me a little slice of this.
Cut me some slack, Jack.
That's the thing. We think native names are free game.
Yeah. I mean, I said it a couple weeks ago. The fact that we name it after them,
Is insane.
people that we slaughtered, but they put up a hell of a fight. Yeah. So now we're gonna pay tribute to you with naming a car after you.
And making so
Pretty
much
meaningless.
money
Yeah.
off your back. Yeah, if they named it...
they could have named it. I don't think they make a dime off of calling it the Cherokee. They make it off of the seat. They make it from the actual car.
But if they called it Will Rogers, whoever runs that name is going to have an issue. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, or...
I have a great Will Rogers scoop.
Okay. Come on.
Ironically enough,
50-year-old
that I'm not
tea.
going to. It is old man tea.
Old man tea. Old man tea is so
It
good.
is. I'll save it.
What?
Because it's in me and Kevin's documentary.
Okay.
Kevin Hart's documentary.
All right.
But it's fucking hilarious.
Okay.
It's like just bad. Like he should have been been canceled. Will
Yeah, I
Rogers.
knew. I've heard rumblings because I remember Googling who the fuck is Will Rogers when I first moved to LA. He's everywhere,
Yeah.
and seems like some old white people shit. They're
It's
like, let's honor this
hilarious.
guy. Okay,
It's
okay.
it's fucking. What he did was hilarious, and his defense was actually funnier than the first thing he did. That's all I'm going to say. Now, this is a huge story. Latinxes love Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry opened this weekend, and starring Colin Jost for some reason.
Why?
Why is Jost in it? It's not really. It's about a young couple, and Jost plays. It's at a hotel, and
Yeah,
I don't fucking know.
It's like a weird Muppets.
Yeah. The good news is when they filmed in London, and when Jost was there, him and Jimmy Carr went out for a nice night. Now, here's the interesting thing. Latinx, 16 to 18% of the population, and wouldn't you know it, they are 35% of the audience for Tom and Jerry. Nobody understands it. Someone wrote, are Tom and Jerry cartoon Morrissey? If you know what that means.
Oh my God, that's
Mexicans
they
in
love-
LA. I think just in LA or everywhere.
no, even in Mexico.
Love Morrissey.
They love
No one knows
Morrissey.
why. They can't even really tell you why. They
love
something
Morrissey.
fucking about the guy. They love him. So
Morrissey.
Tom and Jerry. I mean, someone said they like Tom and Jerry because it translates. I mean, a mouse. Certain cartoons like that just travel well because it's just
they've been around
really
forever.
simple. Yeah.
What was the one? Wasn't there a very, now that I look at it, problematic Latino mouse? Rodrigo? What was his name?
I like
Ricky
what I'm hearing. Go
Okay.
ahead.
No, he's like, I'm nee. Fuck. I don't want to keep riffing.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Yeah. Speedy Gonzalez. Yeah.
Not, I don't know, but he seems to have a problem
It
with Speedy.
was based on there's a character in the Wild Bunch. There was like a Latin guy, either the Wild Bunch. I think it's the Wild Bunch. There's like if you look at the photos, there's a guy who looks like that Speedy Gonzalez is based on, who's like, he's like the local, like that guy, like, hey, bro, I got like the kind of floppy-hatted local Mexican who they had to
include.
Yeah, to like, for local knowledge. Like, I know where the water is. Oh, agua. So Speedy Gonzalez is largely seems based on that guy. And
Did you make that up?
which one?
Speedy Gonzalez based on this guy.
No, it's one of those, when you're watching, when you watch cartoons and then you see the thing that they based it on when you become an adult. It's either the Wild Bunch or the Magnificent Seven.
But there's
one
some-
of them it's based on, and then the Mel Blanc did the voices and a white guy,
Of course.
but he also is like the voiceover goat. It's not even close. I mean, fucking Bugs Bunny, all the Warner Brothers, and a amazing timing.
He's white.
Yeah, Mel Blanc. He looks like Eric Griffin.
He does. He looks like what's that guy? I don't know.
Somebody, white guy Johnson. Mr. Johnson. He looks like Mr. Johnson. So, I mean, look,
Gregory Hines. Doesn't he look like Gregory Hines there? No.
The mustache a little bit.
Okay.
Gregory Hines would be mad, and
I'm sorry,
and Mel
Gregory.
Blanc would be like, nah, I don't love the black affiliation. If you want to hear great voices talking, look up Mel Blanc and Jack Benny. They did a sketch on Jack Benny's show, and you want to talk about Old Man T. It is the most satisfying vocal pitches you've ever. Jack Benny already had fucking just hit a little bit. They're not gonna sue us.
Oh, pardon me, mister, but did my man come over and put some of my clothes in your luggage? See?
So that's Speedy Gonzalez.
that's Speedy.
That's Speedy Gonzalez. That's the guy who does Speedy Gonzalez. Yeah, now they get a 9-second applause break. Whatever, you get it. You'll watch it on your own time. You guys have you love the videos.
Homework.
You love my old man videos. So, good for them.
Who?
Bless.
Tom and Jerry.
They have their, is this your king? And it's Tom and Jerry. Are these your kings? Yes.
The movie looked kind of stupid. I'm not
Tomas and
Hetty?
Jorge?
No, that's George. Jerry,
Yeah, how do you say Jerry in
Geraldo?
Yeah. Yeah, Geraldo. Yes.
Geraldo.
Tomas and Geraldo. Dos por Tomas and Geraldo. And you're going to say that at the ticket counter and you're going to love it.
Dormiendo and what's peace?
Now, we're R.I.P. We're moving on to Mr. Potato Head.
Yo, why? It's happening. Who cares?
This is what I don't. Okay, so there's a stat now. They did the most recent census. Between 5 and 6% of people identify as LGBTQ. Right?
Okay.
Now the startling part of it is Gen Z. 18% of them identify. Which is like the joke, like everyone's bi now. What I don't understand with a corporation like Hasbro, is literally Hasbro makes Mr. Potato Head. I guess I would say, what harm did it do to gender Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head? What harm did it do to even if the population's, it's, let's say it's 15%, right? Of that are, and what I've heard about the LGBTQ stat with Gen Z is a lot of women will say that they're lesbian, even though they've never had a lesbian experience. The young women, they just want affiliation with the brand. And I think they think if I don't declare it now, I won't be able to go down on a chick later on. It's going to be like a vaccine passport, but for going down on chicks. Now, what I'm saying is, what harm was it doing to gender Mr. Potato Head, and what good does it do to ungender it? As an objective, like even as like, how did that get sold to the board?
When I think about it.
Are we misunderstanding it? It's just Potato Head now, right?
It's just Potato Head.
The way you say it's fun. Potato Head.
Potato Head. Thanks. So the problem is, for me, it also is, there's another question that you didn't ask, which is, does it fucking matter if it makes someone else feel better? I don't play with Mr. Potato Head.
No, I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I'm not against. Yeah, keep going.
I just mean that, okay, so obviously we're not playing with Mr. Potato Head anymore. So when is it just nostalgia? Like, why change it? for our opinion. You know, what does it do for anybody? Versus, I don't know, the status quo right now. Like, why have it there? I think it's the same question. If maybe I'm coming from a different place. Why have Mr. Potato Head if the younger generation cares about labels and they care about gender assignments and they care about labeling gender wise? So maybe somebody has a kid and they're like, I just want it to be Potato Head. I don't want it to be Mr. Potato Head. So I think I don't know. It's weird for me a little. Because I think I
don't think you feel threatened by it. It's it seems unnecessary.
It seems unnecessary, but then isn't that what doesn't it just all seem unnecessary to people that are not the target of the change, who don't care about it, you know?
Yeah, that's like the bathroom argument until you read one article about being trans, going to a men's bathroom as a woman, but
right,
just a fucking nightmare.
So I don't know. I think do I really give a fuck? No, but
no, I don't think anyone gives a fuck. I wonder. It's
an interesting sign of the times. Like, is it?
I think they overestimated how far up the list they were in terms of they're coming for you.
Who?
The Potato Head family.
They're like,
the
we're
Potato
the
Head people were like, they're coming for us. And people was like, what are you talking about? Like, no, they're here. They're right around the corner. No, dude, you're like maybe 10 years away from them. So you think
they could have not said anything? You don't think there was a demand?
Yeah, I don't think, I can't imagine there was.
I don't think so either. I think that was just a PR move.
Yeah.
To get ahead of something.
The cops show up and someone's like, I have drugs. And they're like, we're here on a burglary. What are you talking? Fuck. I thought you were here for that. I feel like that's what happened to Mr. Potato Head, where they jumped the gun on what they thought. First of all, what their position is in the country. They're like, they're probably waiting on us at this point to come with a big decision.
Mr. Potato Head is.
Or, yeah, I guess I just don't understand I don't understand the value. I mean, you're not going to get rid of gender as a thing. I don't think you're going to get rid of Mr. I don't think you're going to get rid of Mrs. I think whether people like it or not, you wouldn't want me to introduce you as a man, and I wouldn't want you to introduce me as a woman. And maybe that's our own internalized bigotry, and you're a bitch and you're a whatever. But it's just like, feels like if you're not, I try to do a joke about it, but it's too complicated. If you don't visually read as a woman, you're probably going to feel like you fucked up somehow. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I don't read as a man, I mean, I know that I read as a lesbian to certain people. If I don't read as a man, I'll feel like a failure. Like, what are you, a woman? And right. But it never got to women, but women, I wish women had been like, what are you, a fucking man? Like that, because that's even worse than calling a man a woman. But I wonder I just don't think gender's going away.
Yeah.
As a thing, because I think it's, I don't know if it's helpful. It's just, we need organizing things.
My issue is not, because I have friends who, especially in the Bay, I have a lot of far left leaning friends that are really militant about shit. And sometimes we get in debates and I'm like, well, it can be confusing. And my friend just broke it down and she said, well, this was years ago. And she said, well, what does it matter? Why don't call me whatever I want? It doesn't matter to you. It's no sweat off your back to call me what my preferred name is or my preferred pronouns are. And when she put it like that, I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, what the fuck do I care if you're a she? You know, I don't care. But I do wonder how it's confusing to me to get to that point. Like, I guess you could just ask, what are your preferred pronouns? But I don't think I'm going to do that. Do you know? I don't think that's going to be
well, it's a small percent. It's a small market. It's like left-handed people. The world is it's oriented for right-handed people. It's a little worse for left-handed people. And I'm not making an effort to make it, you know what I mean? Or like tall people, like, you know, and a lot of advantages, being tall is an advantage. And then I remember going to the movies with Blake, and a door that I'd never thought of, he had to do this.
Okay, Neal's like Neal
he had to
tilting his head.
Tilt his neck onto his shoulder to fit underneath a regular door at the mall.
Okay, but those are things.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, so those are things he can control, right? So what do we do?
He can't control.
Sorry, he can't control. That's what I mean. Whereas now we're looking at gender, the tides are changing to look at gender as a choice. What do you feel like? It's not necessarily what you're born as. So how do we be respectful and mindful of people, but also I just know it's not going to be easy for everyone to ask, what are your preferred pronouns? So what do we do? How do we make sure we don't offend a small part of the population while also kind of not being told like you're a dickhead, you know?
It's not unlike the COVID shit. The rollout for some of the stuff that people want, I'm all for, like, if it's dangerous, then that needs to be changed, right? Anything that is endangering your life. If it's and then there's like a spectrum of inconvenience,
right?
Meaning every form is Mr. Like these binary things, and then you got to be like, what do I put? But there's a certain amount of just like collateral damage in that category of, like, Blake has to fucking tilt his neck. He makes a bunch of money playing basketball, so he probably is like small price to pay. But if you don't, do you know what I mean? Like,
but, yeah, no, I do. But
they're not going, I'm 6'10", we need to change all the doors.
But okay, you said that you don't think gender is going away. Is it that? I mean, maybe we've thought about gender wrong this whole time. Or do you think there's just a human nature aspect?
There is a. I think that most people I think most people identify, or it's binary, man or woman. I think like an overwhelming amount of people, I'm a man, I'm a woman. Genitalia is
I'm a Southern black woman.
Genitalia is a big one, and then you just follow that. For the most part, some people are like, "Fuck, this is not how I saw my genitals and I don't love them. They're not what I think I should have." They are rare, but they are in existence. I guess my question is, how much reconfiguring does society at large need to make to cater or do the bare minimum for those people? Right. I just don't know. It's like the right hand or the tall, or there's a bunch of those things. Or like, remember there was a thing about seats on airplanes and charging, like overweight people didn't want to, they felt, and it's a bit like, yeah, I hear you. I don't know. We're mostly this size. They had to make the seat a certain size, like for it to work. And I don't know. I'm sure someone listening to this can be like, this is what I sound old and callous, but I really don't know how much catering we have to do to every group.
Or maybe someone listening can write in and say what they, because if someone told me like, oh, I prefer this, great.
Oh, I'd never be like, no. Where I'm from, I just like, I don't care. I don't care. It's like, it's also not that major an issue.
Right.
I don't not like I'm afraid. I just don't. I remember me and Dave were on stage one night, and you're not going to believe this, but he was talking about transgender people.
No.
And Dave, yeah. And he goes, I saw a transgender person. And I go, where? Because it's like, I never see transgender people. I'm an adult in Hollywood, and I almost never see transgender people. Again, not saying they don't exist. I'm not saying that. I guess it's just a small population number. How much accommodation do they require? And now having said that, I bet there was pushback on ramps for people in wheelchairs.
Of course.
Like, I'm sure it's like, I mean, I've heard people complain about having to build ramps.
I
They
will
don't
say
stop. They don't stop doing it, but I don't know what the stats are on people with disabilities.
Yeah. Well, it would also, I also feel like a lot of the conversation is taking place on behalf of people who are like gender neutral or whatever. And I don't always hear, I hear like, this is inconvenient or why is this happening? Even me, like, why are we changing Mr. Potato Head? Who cares? If you care, fine, but whatever. But I suspect the fuss people make is never as big as what the actual person wants or what they're actually requesting, you know? How sometimes people make a bigger deal on behalf of Black people or on behalf of others when it's like, who said that?
Yeah.
Like
Well, it becomes a game of telephone, and it becomes a game of telephone at times. It also becomes a game of the cultural flopping thing, and it becomes a thing where the flopping, it's like when I told somebody it's like when you're sick in bed and your mom's giving you sympathy and you get like extra sick.
Yeah. I
There are
don't
times
understand
where-
when people act like that. To me, when people
Extra
act
sick?
babies when they're sick, it does not compute to me.
That's funny. I think it's fun to be a baby in bed. I mean,
I
you're
know
talking to a
you're
bed
gonna-
boy.
you're-
It's fun to make. I like making funny noises in bed, meaning like when I get up, I'll go like, no. This is fucking
No,
funny.
Neal, no.
It's funny.
That's
It's a funny thing to do when you get out of bed, to do like a baby girl fawn voice. Sorry, guys. Where I'm from in comedy, it's funny to make noises coming out of you that people wouldn't expect. But I'm old fashioned. I'm an old man phrase. I mean, this is a whole other.
Can we please talk about
too many
it?
issues.
No, Gaga.
Well, that's the thing. Lady Gaga. I said to somebody, somebody called me about literally just to talk about fame.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
somebody who's like newly famous, and they were like, you didn't tell me it's fucking, and I was like, this is the thing that people don't expect about fame. Lady Gaga sings so good, they shot her dog walker. That's how good a singer she is. So good, they took her dogs and shot her dog walker. It's so, it makes everyone so crazy. These talents that they get so crazy that they want to kill you. You need security. And then on the flip side,
they want to kill you.
They want to kill every celebrity. I mean, they want to kill. You know how many death threats Eminem gets? You know how many death threats Lady Gaga gets?
Gaga gets.
You know how many she gets? She gets so many death threats. Like there's probably 30, 40, 50 celebrities who get so many death threats. You can't. It's like, I know someone who gets so many death threats. He said, stop telling me. Stop telling me. Because they're either going to do it or they're not.
Right.
The threat is, Mos Def did a joke on Bill Maher like 15, 12 years ago where he was like, talking about Bin Laden, where he's like, who keeps making videos like calling, like, I'm coming for you. That's what death threats are, basically. Like, they just want to, it's like a pump fake. You say it's the dick pic for celebrities, but
it is a dick pic,
which is not incorrect.
It is, and it's just, I feel like it comes with the territory because, like you're saying, it makes people insane. It's like, yeah, you did a thing that everybody knows about, and I'm this close to you.
Yes.
Or I can maybe get this close to a thing that's an impactful thing. But the funny thing is, to your point, she's so famous that they shot her dog walker, and she said, please return the dogs, no questions asked. Ask questions.
No, that's between you and my dog walker. It's got nothing to do with me, dog.
I couldn't believe. I'm like, no questions asked.
Yeah.
That's really fucked up.
Yeah, that's incredibly fucked up. It also, if you work for a celebrity, that's how much you mean to them.
It's true.
That's what I've heard a really funny story like that, where somebody had like their right hand man, like let's call him Craig, right? The guy, big celebrity, had a right hand man, like Craig, just hey, Craig's here, me and Craig. And one day, a friend of mine saw the celebrity. They were doing a movie together, and my friend saw the celebrity and goes, hey, where's Craig? And he goes, yeah, he's like in the hospital. And he goes, how come? And he goes, I don't know.
Oh, wow.
These are your heroes, ladies and gentlemen. These are your heroes. Now, it's a nightmare for the dog walker.
Rest in power, Craig.
But that's, you know what's funny is that is indicative of, which we'll get to Woody Allen in a bit, what you can get away with. It's like a double-edged sword where people want to kill you and you could technically kill people.
Yeah.
You could, Donald Trump basically got 5 people killed at the Capitol. Like more, 3, 2, 5, whatever. He shot people on Fifth Avenue.
He did shoot.
But The Apprentice was that good.
It was so fucking good. Come on.
The Apprentice was good enough that he can get away with it. But that's where you go like, boy, what's worth that? What's worth getting your dog stolen and your employee shot?
Yeah.
Like it's Brazil in fucking 1975. Like
seriously, it's Mexico City.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like you can't even.
She hasn't even come out with a hit lately.
I mean, guys, it's that the movie, the Shalalalo movie hasn't been out for 2 years, 2-3 years. Shalalalo. The joke I did about that I couldn't ever do in public was I saw the movie. It was a little shalalala. Now, it's terrifying, and it also speaks to the holes people have inside themselves that they go, I want that, kind of knowing that it could get their dog stolen.
Yeah.
And their friend shot. Yeah, but I want it. You sure? No, it'll be different when I'm there. Okay.
Then you might turn into Craig.
Okay.
Okay.
No value for human life. Where's Craig?
Where's Craig?
So that's pretty great. Now, Stevie Wonder has got the right idea.
Why happy?
He claims he's moving to Ghana.
Well, they have the thing.
Right. They have the repatriation for African Americans. But he claims he's moving to Ghana, and his reasoning is he wants to protect his grandkids from living in a country that does not value them. To which I say, what about your kids? Could have moved a little earlier. By my calculations, you started having money in 75. Yeah, so he's moving, and this is what Marcus Garvey wanted?
Yeah.
Move back to Africa?
So.
I believe Marcus Garvey wanted, his plan was, let's all go back to Africa.
Yeah.
You know who else had this plan that people underestimate? Lincoln. Not a joke.
Yeah, also the plan, or who argued Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he didn't want them all going back.
No,
Sally, you stay back. Sally, I wanted to go.
Eyes.
Sally, I wanted to go over something with you in my study. And then chamber music plays like a Mozart because it's 1700, so it's not porn music. It's a sexy Mozart piece. So if you can do it, do it.
Why not?
Like, I know I've been talking to people that are a lot more people than I knew were not in LA for the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Nealon has been in Nashville for 3 months, he said.
Kevin Nealon.
I was
love
like,
that we pivoted from going to Ghana to save your children to Kevin Nealon.
Like, I think, Hannibal's never really in America, but he's been all over. Like, people are...
There's also
a lot of people in Hawaii, a lot of people like... There's the Austin and the Nashville people, but there's a whole...
You're like,
there's more than meets the eye.
Something's happening.
I wish I'd gone somewhere,
bed,
honestly,
Neal.
if this stupid podcast hadn't held me back. Because, but would you move to Africa?
Oh, no, because it's far as fuck. But would I have if I could have some sort of vacation home there? Absolutely.
You're of the mind, calculation for racism in America is worth the first world benefits?
It's not so much that. It's that I'm...
I think you're saying that racism's worth it.
No. I think it's... I guess I'm not... And I'm not saying that Stevie Wonder is, but I'm not naive enough to think I'm going to move somewhere that I don't know much about the local culture and the traditions and everything and be like, and no more problems. I'm not saying maybe it won't be racism, but I don't know. I've lived in a lot of countries, so I would need to do more. I'd want to visit. I'd want to see. You know what I mean? Like I'd want to.
Is there, I guess it's probably a feeling, but is there a thing in America that would happen that you would go like, that'll do it. That'll do it for Binks in the States.
I think what is more interesting is there's so much land in this country that is unused, that is for sale, that is cheap. And I wish there was a way to organize, just like, I believe there's value in leaving and going to Ghana, especially because there's an offer there. But I do think there's value here. Like we can beat white people at their own game. There's so much benefits for living in this country that, yeah, of course, mostly white people take advantage of, but a lot of people don't take advantage of it because they don't know about it. They don't know about certain land opportunities, certain things. I mean, if you look at...
Well, that's what Stacey Abrams did.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not... She just was like, we're allowed to vote. And there were all these impediments, and she would just get the laws changed a little bit.
But there's so much. I mean, even if you look at BLM, I'm not talking about Black Lives Matter. I'm talking about the
Barry Larry Myers.
No. Go just Google a fucking BLM map. Go look up where there's public open land and what you can do with it and what you aren't allowed to do with it. And guess what? White people take advantage of it. White people take advantage of most of it.
White people love a coupon and a Groupon.
But they're taking advantage of something that at this point...
And taking advantage of...
I'm not saying taking advantage...
Ticky-tack. Little fine print.
Fine print, but there's loopholes. There are Bureau of Land Management. There are so many loopholes.
Oh, I literally thought you meant BLM.
No, BLM, okay. Bureau of Land Management. So there's free open land that we pay for with our tax dollars. That is not...
I'd like to think a lot of people wanted to join Black Lives Matter, and the one on here was like, "Oh, this is about land. All right, fuck it." And now they have a farm.
Think of all the white people who were like, "BLM, no, I'm not here.
There.
I was marching for rocks."
They have
there's so much information that I believe in. That is great that Ghana has offered something, but if you don't just take a look at the fine print and the loopholes and things that white people take advantage of, you can do so much on BLM land. You're allowed to be there.
Ghana basically, if you don't know, they basically have, it's almost like what America did for white people after it's a GI Bill.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know what you get, low taxes and property breaks
you get
or something.
Yeah, it's just incentive to move there, and you can become a citizen, and they make it easier. They just give you like a handout to start a life there. But as much as I think that's great, I think the issue here is not, oh my God, racism or Ghana. It's where there's so much information out there that isn't getting into the hands. And guess what? Everybody is allowed to use all this. Like, let's just take the BLM, for example. Like, everyone's allowed to be there. You can literally claim 20 acres of that land. There's things that people don't know. And I feel like if you really mobilized and utilize the information that's out there.
Stacey Abrams would get off her ass.
I know. Come on, Stacey, do more.
Really do stuff.
So I guess that's what I think.
All right, Stevie Wonder, rest in power. Okay. A director said you shouldn't cast straight people as gay people.
Castrate? What do you mean?
You shouldn't cast straight people in gay parts. Ever.
Trying to unhear castrate.
I know you are. We all are.
Okay.
A movie director said like you shouldn't ever cast a straight person.
I feel like we're past it. Just cast a gay person. But a lot of people don't want to identify as gay. So that's another issue. And like actors don't want to identify as gay because you get...
It doesn't help.
No.
It helps like in
The moment
like
for
Broadway, a week of press, and
Yeah,
and
you
then-
go on like Good Morning America.
Yeah, and it's
Now you're the gay guy.
Yeah, but you're right that they don't. I remember Arsenio got in trouble. There's a video of Arsenio like screaming at and people in the audience started heckling when he went into the audience, screamed at him, but they're like, you don't have enough. It was ACT UP, and they were like, you don't have enough gay guests, and he's like, I don't have enough guests that you know are gay. Is the issue.
Yeah.
So that's the. It's also I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a bit like where part of it's acting is who's best for the part, right? Just like who's the best person. Who do I like to see doing this? If I play a comedy writer, I might, or a comedian, and it's me, or it's just what do I like seeing in this part? I don't know.
Right.
Who do you like the best as the director?
Wait, what are you saying? Do
I'm
you
saying,
cast who you
I'm
like the
saying
best?
that you should be able to cast whoever you think is the best person.
Right, but there's biases and there's racism
And if
and there's all
they're
this
straight,
stuff.
you say get lost for the weekend, go do some gay shit, and the part is yours. Open a Grindr account, meet up with 3 guys, see what happens, and if you're now you're curious. I have a couple unpopular opinions.
Come on.
There we go. I'll just do one of them. The blues
Aw.
is the music genre. The blues. I enjoy the blues, but I do not enjoy the blues more than others. Now, here's my issue with the blues. The blues is a chord progression, right? A melody or chord progression played in a self-congratulatory way. So if the chord progression is right, that's like how it's written, and you go now, wow, now everyone goes like, whoa, you just took longer. That's all you did. But people are so like, whoa, did you see? And it's I will also argue that it's white people fetishizing black people, because it's almost always white people going, did you see what that guy did? And we won't get into Blues Brothers movie. It's performative and self-congratulatory, and I wanted to call them out.
So a genre started when slave masters took away slaves' drums, and to get through the oppression and the pain of being a slave, they just started blues. And Neal thinks it's too self-congratulatory. Annoying blues. Pick a new fucking progression.
I'm not going to come off blues. Let me come off blues as like fucking Blind Willie Johnson and fuck all those. Like I understand how it started. I understand it's basically just guitar, right? Maybe Chicago blues. Okay,
let's get
I'll go with
specific
Chicago
now.
blues. Self-congratulatory and performative.
Okay.
Sorry, Chicago blues.
Okay.
You got called out.
Okay.
Play the song well. There we go. Here's the good news, blues. I'm less popular for having what I just said. You're more popular. So in some ways, I brought attention to the blues and made white people root for it more. And isn't that what you want?
I have a Bink's gonna unapologize.
An unapology.
Unapologize. Okay. So last episode, I said that the Bachelorette, who wants to date the Black Bachelor, the first Black Bachelor, who did blackface. I rounded up to blackface. That apology still stands because I said she actually just went. She attended a party.
The apology still stands.
That apology still stands.
I like the referee.
So,
Will, can you get a sound effect of a referee saying the play the play call on the field stance.
Yeah, please.
Thank you.
So she didn't do blackface. Then I did a little deep diving. And it's worse than if she did a
Double
idiotic
blackface, super blackface.
If she did one idiotic blackface, that's bad, but it's a whole this lady is not a fan of black people. And now this is just my opinion. I don't know if this is true.
Well,
but
neither's my grandmother. So what? My grandmother's dead, but I will say,
was she a fan?
The quote that I remember was, she was born in Ireland, moved to America, lived in Chicago, and then moved back to Ireland when they moved in. Never found out who they was, but I have my suspicions.
Still a cliffhanger.
Bianca. I got a short list.
What was her maiden name?
Do you think I'm going to give that up?
McGillicuddy.
And give up most of my passwords? You're out of your mind.
Okay.
You're out of your goddamn mind.
You might have just done that. So come to find out, MAGA hats, fine, whatever. You're allowed to be a MAGA lover. Okay. There's not blackface, brown face. She dressed up basically as Speedy Gonzalez a few parties. Okay, not so bad. Then all of these accounts came out of people when she was on the show being like, oh, that girl, I went to high school with her, I went to college with her. She made fun of me for liking black men. She bullied me for having black friends. She didn't like any of the black girls. She would talk shit about black people. All these accounts came out. Now they could all be false and hearsay. So I'm not saying it's the truth. I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't know if she gets a full apology. She gets a tech, but it seems worse. What I'm finding out is actual belief against.
I don't get them. It would be hard pressed. You'd be hard pressed to go to a plantation party at a plantation, and not be. I was creeped out by going to the Museum of Slavery. Do you know what I mean? Like,
right.
And I said something because it's so overwhelmingly
Neal kept calling
awful.
it the Slave Museum. I'm like, that was the first three levels.
The African American Museum. It's the first three floors are slavery. They get you with slavery. You come for the slavery, stay for the Motown. That's their slogan. So.
Right.
So to go, I was telling somebody the other day, I have a hard time being friends with people, and I could never listen to like Mumford and Sons because of the banjo. It just felt wrong. Like once,
Lady Antebellum.
Yeah, I was like, no, I can't do both. You can't do both. You can't listen to mandolin.
Right.
You can't do it. So the fact, I don't doubt that she's racist.
Yeah. So to me, a simple idiotic blackface and being ignorant, I'm not saying that's great, but the things I saw when I deep dived, I was like, I don't think this lady likes black people that much. Maybe
this lady that went to a plantation party.
You'll never believe.
You're not gonna sit down, have a seat. I don't doubt it.
So there we go.
All right. That's
hard-hitting journalism.
Rest in racism, queen.
Rest in racism.
Okay, we got a big doc watch.
Biggie.
Doc watch.
Pele on Netflix. Fine. Did you watch it?
No, I didn't watch Pele. Pele.
I mean, I was going to go to
Are you on
Pele.
a plantation?
I was going to go to
Pele.
Peel. I've seen Peel. It was fine. He was just great at soccer. That nothing much happened.
It's not like the Maradona one?
No, nothing much happened.
Maradona was...
I still haven't watched Maradona.
Oh, it's good. It's exciting. You can't believe... It's a movie. It's...
Great.
You cannot believe how... Mr. Plot, it's the most cinematic...
Great.
You cannot believe...
Circular callbacks.
Just like callbacks.
Symbolism.
Oh, like the final conflict and how he chooses to go with. Okay, just go ahead.
Is it team or family? That part.
He goes, he's in Italy. He's with the most undesirable losing team. He takes them to winning, but in the World Cup, he has to play for Argentina in Italy against.
Oh,
it's
great.
like,
That's what the Pele stuff was. It was a lot. Not like I don't care about the World Cup, but
this one doesn't. But Maradona is not so much about the World Cup. It's a lot more about him.
Yeah, no, of
life.
course. Yeah. That just reminded me of what I didn't like about Pele.
Oh,
which
what?
It's not, it's like, is he going to play in the 1970 World Cup?
Is it like a 30 for 30 more? Just kind of what happened with Hart?
Yeah.
Or is it?
Yeah. And they do the thing where all the old players get together and tell their funny stories. And yeah, it just was not great, but I'll take what I can get. Okay. Now, this is a bigger one. Now I watched this Allen versus Farrow documentary, Bianca, and I gotta say, it's probably my least favorite Woody Allen movie that I've watched. That's the joke, by the way, that I did the other night that killed. I think I mentioned it earlier in the podcast. Anyhow,
Do you apologize?
I don't think I'm going to apologize.
Okay.
But
You get what I was saying?
after part 2, here's my problem. He within 98% did some shiesty shit with Dylan, right?
Yeah.
The HBO thing isn't journalism. And I think I'm looking for journalism. I'm looking for absolute, like the stuff I was reading last week about Moses Farrow. Like, this happened. Did you know this? Did you know this? Did you know that? Somebody sent me another link to it. To more like holes in the. So I don't know if I engaged in whataboutism, what the kids call whataboutism. I think it seems like he did something to Dylan, from what I can tell.
Neal.
From what I can tell, it seems really pretty clear that he did something to Dylan. And that he's gross.
Not Suyi?
No, he married. I mean, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
He talks about, they have an excerpt from his book last night in the version, and he talks about him and Sunyi's first kiss as if it's cool.
Yeah.
And you're just like, dog, not only read the room, read the earth.
Read the earth.
We don't fucking play that shit. Like, you can't be, he goes, if I do say so myself, pretty smooth. And you're just like,
really? I
hello,
haven't seen part
HBO,
2.
cancel me. Like, whoa, just gross shit.
Yeah.
And so he's out of his mind. And here's a dirty trick they did. Screenwriter, I'm sorry, he gave all of his papers to Princeton. Woody Allen did. Not his photos, though, because he's not stupid. He gave all his papers to Princeton and for the cinema studies program. And the guy goes, I read all the scripts, and it's just young woman after young woman after young woman. And then they do a montage of him. The Manhattan movie with Mariel Hemingway, I never understood why people were cool with. Like, I was like, is that legal?
Right.
The whole time you're like, is this a movie about a sting operation? Is this like he gets arrested at the end of this? No, it's just a summer love. But they did a thing where they do a montage of him kissing younger women. But at one point it's like Juliette Lewis, who's a fucking great actor. He makes up with her. He's 50. He's 60. She's 26, 24. Just kind of creepy shit.
Just creepy, but
then you go, but it's in the context of Hollywood, that's the game. It's like you ever see those things like Tom Cruise's girlfriend in Top Gun, and then they're the same age.
Yeah. In
the new Top Gun, still he's not going to be with old Kelly McGillis.
Right.
So it just felt there's like some cheap shots or some, because the guy's written 100 and something screenplays. Yeah, like he's got, I want to be with a younger woman. He's like, he literally goes, he's probably going like, and like imagining the screenwriting in the movie. It's like, this is fucking unnecessary. If you have a good case, stop doing this shit. But I'm expecting journalism in an emotion fight. So boing, boing, boing. I give it 2 boing, boing, boing.
Boings.
I don't mean boner. I mean like humming.
Yeah.
No. It's fucking gross. And even if, whatever Mia's guilty of, it's like with the Bulls documentary. I remember before the Bulls documentary came out, a friend of mine was like, who's in journalism, was like, yeah, but he approved it.
Right.
So it's not really journalism. And I'm like, yeah, but if he doesn't approve it, you don't have any footage.
Right.
Michael Jordan owned that footage basically, or co-owned it. So I'm looking for like, but what about Mia's shit? And
Right.
Leave that for the blogs.
But you didn't have that with the Michael Jackson documentary.
No.
But you are very, like, you are a proponent of that documentary. You didn't say like,
I don't know of any known holes in the Michael Jackson documentary. Do you know what I mean? Like there was from early on, or from 2 years ago when Moses Farrow wrote that blog, you go, this seems credible. There's no version of that for Michael Jackson. I also don't think he did it. We'll be right back after this. Yeah, like that's the difference to me, is I don't have a thing. It's almost like my thing with Mia Farrow is like, it's kind of irrelevant. It's not irrelevant. It's a character witness thing.
yeah.
Like, is this the best character witness?
But what about Dylan?
Dylan, I think, is a better character witness based on no information. She hasn't done anything like...
That's what I'm saying. So what...
She hasn't done anything like if you read the Moses Farrow thing where you're like, And the other thing about Mia Farrow, she reminds me of women from my mom's church who were pious, yet underneath the piety was fucking rage. And whenever someone's too pious, I'm like,
Yeah, for sure.
something's going on there. Like there's not a full story going on. So it's like the great Ian Edwards. One time we were watching a comedian kill, and Ian goes, yeah, but what's his secret? That's how I feel with Mia Farrow. It's like, you're raging, and it's pre-existing. And I can't, but I'm a dick. I'm a dick for saying it, obviously, but that's why we fill stadiums, is because we don't fill stadiums. I mean, whatever. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I see that, but I think Woody Allen's a garbage person.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I have a non-doc watch, scripted watch.
go.
It is one of the best shows I've ever seen in my entire life.
Wow.
Like up there with The Wire, up there with, I can't believe how good the show is, and I didn't know it existed. Here's the deal. It's Israeli. It's probably why I didn't know about it. It's called...
Tough pill to swallow.
Yeah. It's called Our Boys. You cannot believe how good this fucking show is.
What's it about?
So basically, these three... So the cool thing about it is it happens... It takes you in real time throughout the situation, but it's a real story. The whole thing is 100% real, but they dramatize it, and you go through how everything played out. So there was these 3 kids that got kidnapped by Arabs. These 3 Israelis that got kidnapped by Arabs in I think in Jerusalem. And then as and it
What
really
were Arabs doing in Jerusalem? Go ahead. How'd they let Arabs in? Go, keep talking.
Okay. So so that kind of united the country, almost like a George Floyd situation. So it really united the country very much. It just like it because they were really young kids.
This is based on a true story, right?
This happened. 100%.
Yeah, because I've either read a review of Our Boys or some
the story. Yeah, so this happened in 2014 or 15.
Yeah.
And so then, okay, I won't tell you who, but you'll find out soon into it. Someone goes and tries to kidnap an Arab boy as revenge. And you see their version of like their CIA go through it. Like you see from the beginnings of it, and you see exactly what happens. And so it turns into like, obviously Arab-Israeli politics, but like there's like vibes of like making a murder in there because they're dramatizing.
It's dramatization.
No, it's not. It's scripted, but
Right.
it's based on everything. So you see the when they finally recover surveillance footage, it's the real surveillance footage, and then the actors are obviously trying to act similar to like exactly what happened, but the way it goes down because you go into the far right extreme Orthodox. I didn't know so much about Israeli extremists. You know, you really only hear about Arab extremists, and you go into this investigation. So
it's
deep.
It's not Mossad.
No.
Okay, it's not like Israeli intelligence.
No, it's Shabak, the Shabak, which is their FBI.
Okay.
And they have a section that they go after Israeli extremists. So it's like the Jewish division.
Oh, okay. All
so
right, great.
they kind of surveil
Like Israeli white supremacists.
Israeli white supremacists, and then it's like the investigation.
I can see things in a white context.
Okay, so Israeli white supremacists. There's wires. There's sting operations to try to catch it, and because the balance of peace is hanging in the balance. The hanging in the balance is like, okay, the Arabs are now pissed, and so everything they do has to be very careful. It's
Great.
so good.
Great. I'm right there.
You have to watch it. I know you don't watch scripted shit. Do you do subtitles?
Yeah.
That doesn't.
I'm not all the if there's an ending.
There's it's perfect.
No, okay, great. How many episodes? 4 or 6?
10.
Okay, I would have preferred 4 or 6.
No,
Tell me
10.
which 4 or 6 to watch.
No,
honey,
it's so you don't want it to end.
I'll watch it. I'll absolutely watch it.
It's nice that you see the Arab side of things, the Israeli side of things, the Shabak side of things, and the infighting. And I don't know it's not boring. It's like it feels like you're watching. If you've ever watched a Netflix doc about murder that's dragged you in, or something where you're just like, "Fuck, I have to go to sleep. It's 4 a.m."
Yeah. All right. What's it on?
It is on HBO.
Great. HBO.
Our boys.
Hello, HBO. Turn it back on. I made a mistake about the Woody Allen thing.
Cancel me.
Emails, everybody.
It's time to check that email.
Hi, Neal and Bianca. I was watching an AOC video earlier today, and as a Latina millennial myself, I'm a huge fan. But I'm wondering if one of the places Democrats are getting it wrong is by constantly talking about the working class and poverty. I think a lot of working class people want to be deluded into believing that they can be super rich and wealthy and, the American dream, which is a lie that the Republicans are still selling them. And it just looks sexier. Even though the Democrats are telling the truth about the working class, I just feel like no one wants to be reminded that they're poor. So let me know what you think. Thanks.
She's got a good point.
She's got a good voice.
I found it a little sad. She's got a good point. I don't know how you rebrand it. She's not wrong. There's a quote that's attributed to 5 different people, but that I'm sure I've said on here before, which is Alexis de Tocqueville did a book about America. And he said America doesn't have any poor people. It just has temporarily embarrassed rich people.
That's really
Which is like, and he said it in like 1810.
Yeah.
And he was like... that stuck. But yeah, working. No, I literally was trying to think of a new one. I was like, working class? No, that's what we're trying to get away from.
Right. Backbone bitches.
Yeah, like there's not. What are we? Upwardly mobile could be good.
You know, the one thing that the Republicans and conservatives do good, there's a few guys, I forgot their exact name, but they can
Frum.
be,
it's not David. David Frum, it's the guy with the toupee.
yeah, they coin perfect terms.
Yeah.
For the
Obamacare, they'll just put, they are so good at labeling.
So good at
Democratic
messaging.
Messaging, putting an albatross around Democratic issues with a horrible title.
It's just like,
that you're like, I don't want it.
Yeah.
And I started the bill.
Right.
And I'm like, ugh.
That we need somebody who
Frank
can.
Luntz is the guy's name.
That's exactly what I was thinking about. We need someone who can encode a message in a way that is disarming to people.
Yeah.
But you know,
Upwardly mobile workers. How about that?
that's too long and jumbly.
You're a bitch.
Backbone bitch. It's nice to be like snazzy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong.
And
Upwardly mobile. I'm trying to put some, because upwardly mobile sounds like you're an influencer.
But all the Democratic ones are so PC boring. They're no.
You mean like Build Back Better? Don't you dare talk about Build Back Better. Bill Bach Bachman.
Bilbo
Baggins. You're not wrong. I would go upward, ascendant, the rising class. Rising class is pretty good.
Phoenix.
Yeah, but just like the rising
Phoenix
class.
University. Yeah, rising class.
They just mean poor people. I mean, I don't think that when they call them working class, they used to say blue collar. So working class seems more inclusive. You're right, and we don't have a solution.
We don't know.
So that's pretty great.
Goodbye.
If you got one, let us know. Will,
you've got mail.
Play some shit.
Come on,
hey, Neal and Banks. No discussion, no fucking analysis paralysis by Neal. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want your answer. What do you think the percentage is, okay, of white folks who listen to, name it, hip-hop, whatever, black music, so they can hear the N-word and feel cool with it? Chappelle's show is right up there with it, man. It's, you were the kid in the car, weren't you? Like, hey, you call us N-words, man, we're fucking awesome. Dude, it's just a random thought that came to me tonight.
He is white knuckling this.
It's not a bad question.
No.
It's like that Morgan Wallen kid, the country star. Nobody's that they're not going to listen to a hip hop song that has it if it's a bad song. I think the first priority is entertainment. And then if it's got an N-word in it, it makes it like a little more dangerous to white people. To white young people that are like, like that. By the way, Big J Okerson, comedian, gave him the part in that sketch, but he didn't have money for SAG.
No,
Whoops.
You couldn't have
It was
spotted
like
him.
$400 or something. I didn't know that's what happened.
If he would have asked, like, "Hey, man."
Yeah, but I just didn't know.
That's really
I didn't have money when we shot it either. It was like, I wasn't like, yeah. But it was, I could have something. It was, he couldn't get a loan. It was one of the things like, you'll get the money back. The funny thing is the kid who was in it probably still gets money from it.
Yeah. You really still anytime.
Yeah. So
Nice.
So I think it helps, but I don't think it's there's plenty of songs that have the N-word in it that white people have no interest in. But if it's good.
Well, let's change it to what percentage of white people just like to be like close to nigga, being called nigga, or just that type of music, and how like, you know what I mean?
Well, they took the fun out of it. I'll say that. 20 years ago, it was really something. Now it's you just feel bad the whole time. I think people want to get closer to a culture that seems new and exciting and dangerous.
Yeah, even Santino has that joke where he's like, almost said it to me. You know, like, or if, you know, Disney's saying how, like,
that's a whole other thing of enjoying being called it. That's immutable. Like, that'll never change. And I've made the argument before, which is it means you're included, basically. And that's exciting when you want to be included. So, but I don't think it's a malicious reason. I don't think you're like, I got the new one, boys. And it's like garbage.
Dude, I was at the gym one time. There was a white, red-headed guy. Mm-hmm. And on his forearm...
The red hair makes him seem whiter. Go ahead.
He was very white.
Yeah.
And on his forearm was a tattoo that said, white nigga.
It's a tough one.
And I walked up to him and I said, can I take a photo of that? And he let me. And I still have it.
Did you pose with it or just...
No. It was already a lot going on.
Pointing? The whoopsie daisy? The whoopsie daisy arms? Like, what are you going to do?
I asked him, like, what? I just have to ask. White nigga. It was huge.
Yeah.
He was like, I grew up around a lot of black people and I thought it was fine at the time. And they led him astray. He was led astray. But
that feels like they punked him kind of. Like, I mean, you know what you should get? Fuck it, I'll pay for it.
I was like, you know, one person said,
like,
not the
unless
tattoo
you
guy, the tattoo
did it to not be raped in prison. Not the best tattoo I've ever heard. Don't get that tattoo.
Okay.
Will, move on.
Move on, Will.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
Neal and Binks, longtime listener, love the cast, man. And then he put in parentheses, Cali style.
I like him.
Which is funny and something that people haven't probably said for 25 years. You know, like Cali style. Whenever someone says Cali, it's an indicator that he and I are not going to be friends.
Cali.
Yeah. Like out in Cali. Like, and if you roll the L, it's over.
Cali.
Cali. Cali.
Cali.
Yeah. Anyway, you guys had an episode called Homie Hoppers, and now I want to talk about relationship hoppers. Currently dating a girl who seems to always be in a new relationship, and it's made me question the organic connection of ours.
Yes.
She recently moved here to California and had a BF lined up that she met online.
Wow.
We met about 9 months after she moved, and she told me she's never had a connection like ours, and we're soulmates. Upon further inspection, let's call it a conversation, I found out the dude she started seeing when she got here was staying with her within 2 weeks, watching her dogs, and going to work events with her. Apparently, the guy got shot because the lady's Gaga. The lady is Gaga. Keep in mind, she gave me a key after 2 weeks. She said they were never serious. Knowing more about her past through just combo, though, I noticed all her relationships last around 2-3 months, with a few exceptions. She's been with more than a handful of partners, but she's never had great sex until us. Recently, we were talking about a vacation, and she immediately said no. Doesn't want to bump into an ex there, making me believe she might have feelings for him still. Also, is the ex going to be on every vacation? She also said she never... whatever. Guys, I'm wondering if I have a chronic can't be alone situation here, a.k.a. relationship hopper. What's known, I think, in two kind of terms as serial monogamist.
Yes.
But
my nightmare.
Yeah, this woman is bad news.
No, you can't. I don't know. I have friends like this, so I don't want to totally
move, boyfriend. I just find it. I think everyone's a little motivated. It's like guys get girlfriends for sex and stuff like that, but this is. It gets to the point where it's weird.
Yeah, there's no
and dishonest and contradictory. We're like, what?
Right, exactly. No, I just I don't I know women do like being in relationships and that security and stuff, but she's lining up dudes like you know, if that guy worked out, would she be, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't trust it. And if he feels this way, it's for a reason. It's not because he's being insecure. I think where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't trust her. Unfortunately. Do you?
No, I don't. I'd be gone.
What do you mean? What are you going to say? I think
Same going on vacation to that place. I know she's not coming. I'll tell you anything you want me to tell your boyfriend? Your fake boy. Like, I don't even know what the fuck she's talking about. Once you catch somebody in enough contradictions, it's kind of over.
Right. It's like,
you're like,
who are you?
You're fucking either a liar or dumb.
Right.
So which do you want me to put on cause of death? On your toe tag, should I put liar or dumb? He also closed the letter by saying, "Take it sleazy. I'm out."
Goodbye.
I like it.
Take it sleazy and I'm out is what he wrote.
You know what this reminds me of? Have you seen that episode of Rick and Morty where there's like a dating app and they keep finding their love mate immediately? Like, it's like, Neal, it's always been you. And then Will comes in. It's like, no, it's Will. It's like, I think sometimes some people are like,
they buy the story and they want to believe that they're so, like, I'm just blessed and I love love.
Yeah, and it's like, no, this is different than the last one. This is da-da-da. And the immediate, anytime it's immediate too soon, especially with a guy, if a guy's like way too into it way too soon, I'm like, men aren't like built like this.
Toe tag time.
You've got mail.
During the Texas segment in your last episode, I uselessly observed that New York is pretty much the Texas of democratic cities. We act like it's so great and ignore that we live in walk-in closets for the sake of bagels and public transportation, which is really a homeless shelter on wheels at this point. I don't know why you're bringing them into it. But don't worry, Bill de Blasio is organizing flash mobs to dance in the street and bring back the culture. I know what he means. Texas's thing is that they act like they're not dependent on America. They're not part of America and that they're not dependent on funding from the central government.
Right.
New York is gross. New York is very gross. It's a real point. It's an interesting point in life where you go, this place is gross, where everything's filthy. Everything. You cannot, they don't have a power washer powerful enough to wash New York. It's the grind. It's 100 years. It's the Vincent Price Thriller. It's the funk of 40,000 years. It really is like, wow. And you can't get light. There's too many big buildings. You cannot see light. Like the average, you wake up in California and you're like, this is nice sunshine at 9:30. You wake up in New York and you're like, did I sleep until 5:15? And then
Really?
and it's 11. You cannot get access. Like there's brick. It's
you
just everything.
You have an hour.
Yeah. So
you don't miss it.
I mean, I miss the stimulation. That's what you get in New York is you get a lot of reps. You get to judge thousands of people a day.
It's good. I mean, walking here versus walking in New York.
You bump into like 8 people and 10 dogs.
Goodbye. You've got
Hello,
mail.
Neal Bianca. Anyway, back to the topic. Neal, it's been a while since you talk about the fats. It's a subject I'm curious about in regards to, 1, your consorting with Mother Aya, and 2, the new one-man show you're working on regarding self-acceptance. My question is, has your viewpoint on chubbies changed? I'm a chubby changer.
Chubby changer.
Today, I somehow landed on a podcast interview with Sonia Renee Taylor, where she was talking about the new book, The Body Is Not an Apology. You can kind of guess what the basis of the books might be based, but I was really intrigued by one particular insight she gives. The breakdown essentially is that any kind of judgment on the human body is in direct support of the systems meant to maintain power by the white patriarchal capitalist control. Meaning body shaming or disgust for any human being is a rung on the ladder of the same system that is supported by racism. This goes on.
This is a long.
This goes on
this
and
is
on.
long.
Yeah, she actually had a long-ass letter paragraph, and I cut it, and it was still long. Lady, I tried to help you. You can't be helped.
What's the skim it? Anyways, what'd you think?
Neal, you often say shame works, but I think I disagree. It encourages self-hate, not healing. That's not very Aya, potential obnoxious catchphrase.
She's funny.
From the people who brought you That's So Raven. That's not so Aya. The fats are tough for me.
They are.
The fats are tough for me because I see it as a simple gluttony issue. It's like the Catholic in me sees gluttony.
Why at one point though, because it isn't.
I believe that there's a small percentage of people who eat the appropriate amount of calories per day and gain weight. I just don't think it's a big percentage.
What I mean is, so when you say, oh, sometimes I feel like gluttonous, and like fat people or very overweight people have a mental issue, but you're not talking about someone who's out of shape. You're talking about someone that's like morbidly obese, right?
Somebody like out of shape, like the proper BMI.
I mean, not tight, like a little gut, a little like floppy arm, a little.
Yeah, I mean, what do I think of that?
No. I'm saying that when you say you think someone has mental health issues, like untreated mental health issues, it's the like just constantly ballooning and gaining weight. I don't think you're talking about everyone who's
like
overweight.
Yeah, anybody, if you're like within the BMI, if your doctor doesn't say anything.
Right. So, but there's a lot of people who are just that. And maybe you're not attracted to that. Obviously, you're not attracted to someone who's morbidly obese. Most people aren't, unfortunately, for them. But let's just talk about not.
I would take it out of attraction even, because that's
not attraction. I'm just saying for you, your issue, right?
Yeah.
Is like you've said, you like fit bodies. You think that's the best thing. And
me and the entire medical profession like.
I'm not saying you only. I'm just talking. I'm trying to get to a point. So if someone's just out of shape, right? Like, do you think they deserve as much shame or judgment as someone who is morbidly obese? Because I don't think we don't really make a distinction between the two. We just say fat.
Yeah, I guess morbidly obese. The word morbid makes me seem like a real jerk, but
you didn't coin it. Frank Lutz did.
Yeah. I think it's like debt or smoking or drug addiction or any of the things that are easier to avoid when you're, maybe it's easier when you're white, right? It might just be easier to avoid all those pitfalls. But it's still not easy.
Right.
I want to eat sugar all the time for fucking literally every meal. I can't because it's just not healthy. And so that's my thing is expecting sympathy. Bird did that joke about, he's like, I'm sick of seeing fat people crying on TV.
Oh my God.
And that was set up. But it was about how on The Biggest Loser, all these people crying. He's like, for some reason, you're leaving out the amazing feats of eating that you did. And then he goes, I had a roommate who used to buy Ben & Jerry's, let it melt, and then drink it.
Oh, that's so nasty.
That's like, again, how much sympathy do I have to have for that person who's doing this thing that's completely abnormal and completely beyond the pale? That's what, and I don't think that's the average fat person is drinking Ben & Jerry's. But Burr's point is like, you have these incredibly wild rock and roll nights of eating. You gotta, eventually it'll get you. Rick James fucking died fairly young from someone said from an acute case of Rick James. Like you will, there is a price to pay for this stuff. And at the same time, I know rehab for drugs, rehabilitation works better than punishment. I also think shame works. It's gotten smokers, it's reduced smoking massively. And even the tobacco companies, think about like what the oil companies are doing now with climate change stuff. Like jobs, and the tobacco company, we were just like, shut the fuck up.
Right.
Shut up. Because the deaths were very provable. So that's my take on it. I wish them health. I'm not like, fucking get off my property. I wish them health. And I think if they were more disciplined with themselves, we'd all be in better shape. Now,
literally,
yeah, we'd be in better shape. But like, and I'm very disciplined, and that's what people don't like about me, whether they realize it or not. Hey, Keith. All right, I heard Keith crying.
I did too.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Good song from him.
Yeah, it really did. You get stuck on them stairs.
Goodbye. You've
Hey
got
guys,
mail.
heard your podcast, started wondering why we haven't truly embraced the double-blind experiment process in our justice system. Couldn't we fix our racially and economically biased system by just putting everyone in separate rooms, using type-to-talk apps, and redacting other irrelevant info? Sounds like the only problem might be that juries and judges would be more dispassionate with their sentences, to which every black person in America would chuckle and reenact the Kermit sipping the tea meme. I'm pretty sure the rich would eventually find a workaround, but short term, it would motivate the system to create appropriate sentencing for everybody, and it's better than what we currently have. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, it's absolutely, you shouldn't know the gender, you shouldn't know the race, you should know the circumstances and the crime, or the alleged crime. But like, yeah, it's the whole thing is corrupt.
Yeah.
Once you know about human bias, it's like, okay, well, so we'll go. They should have gone from the study about bias to the courthouse. Like, okay, well, this doesn't work, so we need to redesign this.
Right.
But
I never thought about. Has anybody proposed double blind?
Well, I don't know what double means in this case.
I don't either, but I just
blind.
mean blind.
I don't know. I feel like Sweden probably thought about it.
Right.
How do you
Sweden
make
think
a blind?
about it?
I guess it's how do you...
Yeah, it like the defendant A.
Yeah.
You just don't say their name. You don't say anything that can alert to where they are.
He, she, they, no.
Potato Head.
Then Potato Head entered the store and took out his potato gun and shot Potato Head B in the eye of the potato. You get it, guys?
For example.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
Recently, I was listening to the podcast and was hearing both of you speak about countries or states like Texas with little government intervention. Oh, this is a good apology. This is a Neal Gon Unapologize.
Come on.
The argument was quite solid. It was about Republicans' view of small government. The argument was quite solid when you highlighted how countries with no government involvement in the lives of the citizens tend to lack adequate investment infrastructure and generally good quality of life. But when Neal said, you want to see small government, go to Rwanda, I couldn't help to think how bad of an example that was. Rwanda's government is extremely large in comparison to other countries with similar population size and involved in people's lives, the government is. And as it heavily spends in government programs and public infrastructure, from roads to public housing to schools. It's to the point that the government created a day called Umuganda, or National Cleanup Day, which makes all citizens clean up their cities and towns the last Saturday of each month to make Rwanda the cleanest and most well-paved country in Africa, thereby totally contradicting your point about the government being strong because they make the people do it. I have a great cleaning lady. She makes you clean the house up yourself. The Rwandan government is also quite strict and at times politically repressive, but two things it is presently not which are small and uninvolved. I love the podcast, and both of you are very knowledgeable, but I just think choosing the country, which seems to be the first presumably fucked up country that came to mind for Neal, continues the all too familiar and inaccurately generalized perspectives about Africa and structures in this highly diverse continent.
Yes.
Signed, Trevor Noah. What? Yes.
But in our defense, you went for Rwanda because of the genocide in the 90s.
Yes.
Right?
I went for Rwanda. I actually thought about, when I read this letter, why I went for Rwanda. Because I had Ghana on my mind.
Ghana on my mind.
And Nigeria, it's got that word in it.
Oh.
So I just let me stay away from it. And which leaves
Chad, of
course, who sounds like a guy. And it's not a dunk. And then there's North Africa. Again, I hear you, but also I hear myself.
Right.
No, he's got a good point.
No, he's got a great point. I just mean
the cleaning self-service is not a good government policy if you're trying to show how great the government is. Yes. So there you go, everybody. When you're done with Ghana, keep on walking to Rwanda.
Bring a broom.
It's on the other side of the country, from what I
Goodbye.
understand.
You've got
Hello,
mail.
Neal and Bianca. Thanks for the podcast. New active listener.
Hey.
You guys are great. Down to business. I grew up with a lot of verbal emotional abuse. I grew up in a lower middle class home, upwardly mobile. I'm one of 3 girls, each of us 2 years apart, born in 69, 71, and 73. My father was a drunk and a bully to all of us, my mom included. He's still a bully, and mom is still with him. He treats her like garbage. I've recently decided not to see them anymore, but still feel intense guilt. They didn't beat up or starve me, but I feel like garbage when I'm around them. I can't explain why, but being around them makes me feel pretty sick. Despite a lot of abuse, all 3 of us kids did well and surpassed our parents academically and professionally with zero parental support. We still all have issues, though. My siblings make me feel very guilty for hanging on to past abuse and grudges against my parents, so it's very hard to interact with them also, and I'd rather not. Is it okay to completely leave your family of origin behind and not look back? Why do I feel such intense guilt about doing it? Very conflicted. Can't think of a cute way to end this email.
That was it.
The first step is admitting that you can't think of a cute way to end the email. I've been pretty clear about this.
Yes.
Self-care, number 1. And then everybody else, number 2. So if it's just not healthy for you, don't do it. And just say, it's not healthy for me.
Yeah.
And without even the expectation that they're going to come back having learned or anything, just be like, this isn't healthy. That's not a good way to talk to people. I don't like that tone. But that's what families do, is everybody regresses.
Yeah.
You have a more Panamanian take on this, a Middle Eastern Panamanian take.
No, I don't know. We've talked about it a bunch before, but I think it'd be very hard for me to cut off my family, even though they wreck my head a lot. I just have I think I grew up with a bad sense of boundaries between people, friends, family. I don't have
You
boundaries.
and your mom feel like friends more. You feel more like girlfriends.
No, I'm like her parent.
Okay.
So that we have tension because I tend to over police what she's doing a lot, and she's doesn't like it, obviously.
Yeah.
So we have our own
Get out
special.
of the room.
Yeah. So it's the roles are a little bit reversed there, but I think my issue that I've realized is, and I've said it before, growing up, I thought not having boundaries and being able to take it was strength. Like I can handle anything.
Well, that's the thing that they trick you into thinking.
Yeah, and it's actually weakness, because saying to someone, hey, I don't like the way you make me feel, and I need to take a step back, way harder, scarier, more uncomfortable to do. That's really, in my opinion now, that's the strength. The strength is, if you really want to be a strong-minded person and consider yourself like, oh, I can handle anything, then handle boundaries, because that shit's scary.
Yeah.
So I would say start your journey and start just getting familiar with like what your boundaries are. Because sometimes you don't realize you needed certain boundaries, or you didn't think it was possible to have boundaries with family because they're your family. And it's like,
you're not allowed.
You're not really allowed to say like, no, not today. Whatever your boundaries
The whole thing is an exercise in a lack of boundaries. Like we're all in the same house. I have the key to your house.
Right. No, open your door. It's just, it's so, I think you have to start the relationship with your boundaries and understand where they are, because that took me a really long time to understand. Like, oh, I don't like it almost reminds me of, I've never liked sweets, even as a kid. And I think I went to somebody's house when I was in the 7th grade, one friend of mine. And I was like, oh, do you have any soda or juice? She's like, oh, we don't drink that. I don't like sweets. And it blew my mind that I didn't have to drink soda. And I thought to myself, I fucking hate soda, but I didn't know I had the option not to drink it.
Wait, you didn't know you didn't have the option when you went to the other person's house?
No, in life, we give kids soda so much.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like soda, juice.
Yeah.
And I wasn't aware as a kid that you could just say, I don't like this. I don't want Hawaiian Punch. Like, I don't want High C.
Yeah.
I don't want a Ecto Cooler, even though those are delicious. Like, I don't want this shit. And I always was like, no,
and
you
if
have
they make you drink it, kids, say they molested you. It's the best. Make a documentary saying that they molested
Neal.
you. And I will defend somebody.
Somebody.
The wrong person, probably. So yeah, just your boundaries are good. Boundaries are good. There's a problem down the line, which I have, which is when does a boundary become a wall? But
oh, that's interesting. So when have you felt your boundaries have become?
I used to be very codependent and have no boundaries, and then I overcompensated by having strict boundaries and strict rules, and if you can believe it.
Wow.
It's strict. Like I would get mad. Yeah, I mean, it's a long time ago, but
is there a way to come meet in the middle?
Somebody made the observation that it's a boundary is a wall with doors.
Yeah.
So,
But how do you go from not being like with your rules?
You feel it out. What is
Have you worked on it? I feel like you still need to work on that.
Well, that's between you. You just crossed a boundary.
I'm sorry.
So guess who's working on it now? You are, dear.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
I'm one of those people you described who's against D'Elia. He probably can't ever win me back. Did you notice in D'Elia's video that he didn't mention any of the reasons why people were mad at him? No one was upset that he was hooking up with his adult fans. He wasn't canceled because he cheated on his fiance. It was the flashing, coercion, and inappropriate interactions with underage girls that upset everyone. He didn't mention any of that in the video, not even to deny it. D'Elia saying all my hookups were consensual and legal was the closest he came to acknowledging the actual reason he was canceled. The rest of the video was just self-flagellation for a sex addiction no one cared about. Like Neal said, most guys would message tons of women if they were in D'Elia's position. And as a woman, I'd argue that most women wouldn't care. Seemed odd to me that neither of you guys mentioned how D'Elia's video was an attempt to change the narrative from man who grooms teen girls to man suffering from sex addiction. Any thoughts on that? Bianca, you have a lot to answer. I mean, I can respond to this.
We can both respond.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I don't think he groomed teen girls.
Oh, I don't know about all that. I don't know.
I just don't think he groomed teen girls. I don't think that there's proof of him grooming teen girls, and I think that when he said it was legal and consensual, I think the girls that he messaged the minute he knew they were underage, he stopped messaging them. So
that's what I saw, but I think I saw the same thing. I saw him respond to, oh, you're not legal. Yeah. Okay, whatever. But I don't think that's the point. I think it's, let's just say his opinion was, I didn't groom anybody. Like, say, like, hey, I got canceled for X reason. I didn't do these things. Like, at least, I think what everyone is saying, and I heard this after we talked about it, and it made me think, was,
Hey, go.
Oh my God.
Go. He doesn't like us talking about D'Elia.
Go.
Go.
What if there's an earthquake and he's sensing it?
That would be so great for the podcast. Go. Go.
What are you feeling, boy?
Go, buddy. Go.
So,
Keep going.
Go, Keith. Oh, no, sorry.
Go.
I did the wrong.
Keith, go.
I did the wrong.
Go.
I did the wrong.
God. Go. No, you're bringing it back.
No, you're bringing it back.
Go, buddy. Go. Go. Go.
Go, Keith, go.
Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. All right.
Okay. So let's just, regardless of what you think he did, right? Let's just talk about the actual video. They're right. Like, he didn't really address much. He said he's cheated, and he did say stuff about like having, like, I've only had consensual sex.
Yeah.
So he didn't really just like attack head on the allegations or the things that got him canceled. Do you think if you're gonna make a video after all this time, maybe it would have been more fruitful to just attack the elephant in the room? Because I do feel like there was still an elephant after the video. You know, it's not like he didn't say.
Yeah, I just thought he covered it. I thought by saying legal and consensual,
right,
and that they released somebody released the proof of him going, no, thank you.
Why not say, I didn't do the things that I didn't groom anybody. I didn't do it. If you like, why not go do that?
This is where it gets into this emotional thing of like, well, I wanted. It's like the guy's been in the penalty box for a year. He lost a lot. They're also going. He didn't lose anything. He's already lost a lot, right?
Right.
So I just feel like everyone wants these a la carte or like. They want apologies to their specifications, you know?
But if you are accused of something, isn't it better to say, if you're like, I didn't do this shit, isn't it better to not talk about what's going on with you, but just at least clear cut say, I did not do this at all. I did not groom anybody. Like, because there's specific words attached to it, right? So why not just hit them and be like,
partially it's, I'm sure a lawyer told him, like, don't say this. You may want to say, stay in this area, stay out of that area. I don't know if that's applicable to this.
But that's when we were talking about, it's like, how does someone, let's just take it away from D'Elia. Because I'm just asking, like, just all the questions. What do you do in this situation, you know?
Yeah.
So let's just take it away from him. What do you do when you're saying I'm innocent and these allegations, and the court of public opinion has already made you guilty? Do you go after it? Do you say really plainly, like, I didn't do any of these things? Or do you just kind of say your piece with it and not have to do this dance? Or I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to understand what's the right way to go about it. Because this person's saying he should have attacked the allegations head on.
What he was accused of is illegal and non-consensual, right? So the exposing himself, and the grooming and the other one,
underage girls,
right, are all either illegal or not consensual,
right?
And by saying I didn't do that, I think it didn't bother me in terms of like, he's not talking about it, because I just, that's under that umbrella.
Yeah.
But it's, it's the bespoke apology is what I was looking for, the term I was looking for. Dan Harmon had a good one a couple years ago. Have you ever listened to his apology album? It's pretty good. But his was vaguer and more personal. It was like psychological with a female writer, under power dynamics and all kinds of shit. That's why his was good too, because the charges were like vague, and he was pretty openly like he seemed completely apologetic. I thought Chris was apologetic. It didn't feel staged or like I don't think that was take 3. Do you know what I mean? It just seemed like that's how he felt, and but I think it's a matter of it's bringing legalese to an emotions fight. He's bringing legalese to a thing where he needs to project sorrow and contrition. I'll give you that it wasn't that much contrition, like in terms of like emotion, like in terms of like, what did you like acting class? Like, okay, what was he giving us there? Like, he wasn't like over. It was kind of like more than I've seen him give, but I personally don't have that problem because all the things she mentioned fell under that to me.
So let's just in general, when people do get canceled like this, do you think it's better to just disappear and not say anything? Or do you think it's better to like attack it head on because Louis touring, you know?
Delia could tour.
You think he could tour?
Yeah.
And not have like many issues?
I mean, if Louis didn't, he won't.
Right.
You just go, the places aren't as big. You know, that's it. And they're all dudes. That's the other thing. It's just no women.
Even serial killers get
women of course. There's like that. The Rich
like,
Ramirez. He should dress like he should have a pentagram on his hand. If you go back out, Chris. So I think I don't know. I think you.
I'm just wondering
I think Dan Harmon's was the best one because he actually sounded considerate more than anybody.
I didn't hear
it. Wasn't. You know, it just, I don't know. It just, Aziz's and Chris's and Louis, and they've all kind of done it in different ways.
I'm trying to think, okay, if you as someone that, you know, we've all been had our opinion about someone from afar, like we've all been part of the jury of public opinion. What do you want to hear? Like, I'm just thinking of a racist, whatever, Karen type.
It's also prescribed of like, say this.
Right. Do I care?
Anyone.
Yeah. The people who are like, you nigger, I don't give a fuck, record it. I don't care who sees this. And it's like, I never meant to hurt
what came over me.
Anybody.
Yeah.
So, and I'm talking about this. I'm not talking about Chris. I'm just saying that's when I think of those people apologizing.
I think it's feeling.
You motherfucker.
I think it's the feeling. What feeling are you giving me? That's it. Like, that's it. Aziz gave a lot of contrition, and to which people of varying degrees are like, what's he contrite about? That's a whole other issue. But it's a matter of contrition. And then the other thing is kids. Huh? Meaning all these guys have kids. And the thing that impedes maverick behavior is knowing that your kid can pay the price for it. So, Chris obviously being a new dad is probably like I need to provide, and so when people are like they should have gone on, it's like they don't, you know. Aziz doesn't have kids, but. Aziz wanted to be accepted back in the winner circle.
Right. Aziz, I feel like we're in the Wild West of like, what do you do when you're on the other side of things?
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you know, do you just say, well, I had a good run? Because entertainment is so reputation based. It's not like he's getting chased out of California, you know? It's reputation based. So I don't know. It's weird. It's just a weird beast. Like what to do with your reputation, how to repair it. Yeah. Is there some reputations that are beyond? Or also we also forget shit very quickly. If you got a hit, you got a bop. If you got a bop.
Dan Harmon's was good, but there's no real good, clear way to do it. Sit, buddy. Sit. Buddy. Sit. Okay.
You talking to Will or Keith?
Sit. Or Kevin Hart.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
One more. What do you mean? One more?
Yeah. What's going on? Y'all been listening since day one. I'm 26-year-old black male in a relationship with 26-year-old white woman. The other night we had a discussion about Rachel Dolezal not being able to get hired. Did we read this? Since she was discovered not actually being black. I told my girlfriend that as a black person, I wouldn't take a course about African or African American studies taught by a person that wasn't black. She thought that this was closed-minded of me, and I was completely confused by that. What do you guys think? Appreciate y'all. Take care. This is similar to gay people should only play gay people. If there's a captivating white person or Latin person or whatever who knows African American history really well and can teach it really well, then less than optimal black teacher.
What do you mean less than optimal black teacher?
They're just a worse teacher.
Or maybe there's
less
not
persuasive
available.
or no, I'm saying like literally A, B.
Okay.
African American studies. White woman who's very charismatic, very knowledgeable, very just shit is open and just a good teacher. And a black person, same accreditation in terms of education, not as good a teacher.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
Right, but I don't think it's open and shut. I don't think it's like, yeah, gotta go with the black. You can still take the lessons that the white person tells you.
I don't know. I've had a lot of college professors, and sometimes even if you read on like ratemyprofessor.com or whatever the fuck it is now, sometimes I've had bad teachers that I've gleaned plenty from that weren't that persuasive. I don't know. I think I would prefer.
Right, but they have the same knowledge.
No, I understand, but there's some African American history. The black woman's gonna have knowledge the white person doesn't have it all. Obviously, right? So
that's what
there's an ad. I mean, if we're gonna get
once
the
you're
same
into history, if you're talking about like history up until the time they're both born, let's say their history up to black history up to the civil rights movement. Neither one of them were alive.
Right.
Right. To me, obviously I'm biased because I've said shit that ended up in Black People's Act. Yeah. That was based on a historic thing that they didn't, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't think that it's worse. Once the person has the knowledge, who gives a shit where they got it?
Okay, so for example, there's a few classes, a German class and a French class, and maybe it's a little different, but I had two particular teachers that were American, and they were worse teachers.
Right, but that's a different
I know
thing.
It's different, but they knew, they were exactly proficient in French than any other teacher, and in German than all of my other teachers. The American woman was the head of the German department, but still I got
she was the Führer. Go ahead.
I got much more from the German teacher, and not because, pronunciation or technically, no, I didn't get much more, but they taught with a familiarity that the American person couldn't. So I have to kind of use that as a measure.
I feel like that's a different thing.
If you're
teaching
black,
a language.
But if you're black and teaching African American history, and you can maybe I don't know, tie it into So what? That's what is different, because it's not that the American Frau Mela, it's not like they taught me incorrect German, and it's actually a better example because there's only one way to teach German, regardless of who you are. You know what I mean? Like, it's either like die, der, or das, and those are rules that are already set. So regardless of if it's you or me or a German person, if there's only one way to do it. So if someone is black and teaching African American history, I feel like I would prefer to get it from a black person. I don't know.
I of course, you prefer. You know what I mean? It's feels better. But what I'm saying is, if they're not as good a speaker, or if there's shit about them that makes them a worse. I don't even remember. I don't even know how to categorize what makes people good.
But the problem is you're making the black one worse So
if they're all the same, yeah, go to the black one.
But there's nothing about this was that there was a white. You know, you're kind of hacking the scenario.
I told my girlfriend that I was, as a black person, wouldn't take a course about Black or African American studies taught by a person that wasn't black.
Right.
He wouldn't take the class.
I know. What I'm saying is that you're hacking it into one is a worse option and one is a better option. So it's like,
no,
okay,
I'm saying I'm saying
like,
one is white or you don't take the class, and he's going,
okay, let's do that.
It.
One is white.
That's what he's saying.
Yes, I know, but that's not what you were saying.
Oh yeah, but the next logical thing is, does a person who's teaching about that thing have to be that thing?
I think it's depending on what study, it's better when they are. If I had to take a class and you're the only professor that's teaching it, obviously I'm going to take the class.
Thank you.
You know, I was like going to just play his reel of saying
class is full.
The N-word.
Class is full. You can't.
So yeah, I don't know.
So
there we go. We solved racism. Solved it.
We'll save that one for next week, guys. What a podcast!
Oh my
we were
God,
both, I
so
think,
good.
very good. Daniel Kaluuya came by.
We had a guest. Thank you, Neal.
I tried to get another guest, and he didn't.
Can we have one of your famous friends every other pod?
No.
Okay.
I was trying to get Arsenio to come talk about coming to America, but
I love Arsenio.
Didn't text me back. Now's the time.
Go.
You can play the music though. We don't have to take this shit.
We don't have to take this shit. Bye.
Goodbye.
Tell me how you feel. 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 Tell me how you feel.